Alrighty, guys, I am live. I am here. Can you guys hear me? Am I audible? Can you guys hear this schmexy voice? Let me know in the comments. Can you hear me? I just exposed Adam, and oh yeah, I'm gonna check it out. I'm gonna see. Well, they just keep talking shit. Like, well, we're not even talking about them, and they just keep talking shit. But anywho, I did not came here for that. I came here to talk more about Project 2025. It's imperative for this election, and I'm letting you know. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Catch it on fleek. It's imperative to know that yes, yes, TDC, I am live again. Um, it's imperative you guys to know what's going to happen for Project 2025. And I want this to be very, very important because this is something. Oh, you went to Pride? Oh, neat, neat. I know you were being horny with them lesbians. Them lesbians and them trans girls. I know you really wanted, you thirsty for them mofos. But get it, catch that pussy and dick. But Yep, boobies of the cis and the trans. Catch it. But this is very important. I want to talk to you about Project 2025. It's very imperative that you guys pay attention because this is something that you need to be aware of and why this election is very important. Now, when I went to the Newsweek website, they actually displayed the age of consent laws. Currently, this is where the age of consent laws are placed in the United States. So let's go over. So I am in New York City, right? So New York City, right here. Child marriage is illegal over here, right? So that's New York. It's illegal. Everything in purple is where child marriage is illegal, right? Everything in red is where child marriage is legal. So the minimum age of consent is 16 years old. So when I tell you these policies are being implemented, and this is 2021 and it hasn't changed since. So since 2021, this has been the age of consent for the states. So I'm gonna name all the red states that support this. Okay, I think the only blue state, which is blue means Democrat, liberal, the only blue state that support this is New Hampshire, which is 16 years old. So child marriage is legalized in New Hampshire. That's probably the only blue state in America that is legalized. So I'm going to name them off. So you got New Hampshire, West Virginia, North Carolina, that's disgusting. South Carolina, not expected. I expect that. Georgia, Alabama, which is no surprise. Indiana, Illinois, Wisconsin, Iowa, Missouri, Louisiana, Texas, Arizona, Utah, Colorado, Wyoming, Idaho, Montana, North Dakota, South Dakota. And that's about it. That's about it. That's about it. These are the states that legalize child marriage. The green state, the minimum age to marry a child is 15 years old. You want to know what the green state that is? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Am I audible? Can you hear me? Okay, let's try this again. New Hampshire, West Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, Alabama, Indiana, Illinois, Wisconsin, Iowa, Missouri, Louisiana, South Dakota, North Dakota, Montana, Idaho, Wyoming, Utah, Colorado, Arizona, Louisiana, and Texas, which is the minimum age is 16 years old. I want you to know it is very imperative. It is extremely, extremely imperative. Hey, Bigo, what's going on? Okay, great. It's imperative to know that you do not vote for Trump this election. Omega, boy, you know it's about to get lit. It is imperative. It is imperative that you don't. The link is in the live chat. You can check it out. I pinned it. It is imperative that you don't vote for Trump. Period. It is extremely imperative that you do not vote for Trump. Trump wants to make the minimum age of consent 15. Right now, within over 38 states, the minimum age of consent is 16. Do not, and I repeat, if you are opposed to having these laws, do not vote for Trump this coming election, because what's going to happen is that you see Kansas City right here. Let me show you right here. You see Kansas? Kansas is the only state where it's 15. You do not want that to happen. You do not want that to happen. Oh, okay, Omega, because we're going to talk about this. You do not want this to happen. You do not want the age of consent to be 15. Once that happens next year, because this is what Project 2025 is all about. It's about legalizing traditional family values. When they talk about that, they are talking about legalizing child brides, because in the 1950s the age of consent was around 13 years old. Okay? So when I tell you Republicans, what they want to do is this. The GOP, that's what they want to do. They want to legalize child marriage. Let's make POD great again. Well, that's not funny. That's not a funny thing, but I get the joke. Yeah, because that's, if you vote for Trump, you're going to be grabbing people by the pussy, and it's going to be children, and that's not okay. That should be complete getting your dick chopped off and being sent to far away in like Guantanamo Bay or something, or electrocuted, whichever one works. But this is the future that they want. This is the future that they're going for. This is the future that they're advertising. This is the future that they're trying to make. Do not let this happen with all your heart. Even if you don't like Biden. Biden is, I'm going to keep it real with you. I'm a Democrat and I despise Biden. I think he's a piece of shit. I think he's a racist. I think he's a terrible father. I think he's a nasty old man. I think his entire family is a bunch of drug addicts who just want to cover up their crimes. Right now, Hunter is in, I think he's in trouble for the drugs and the illegal weapons of arsenal that he had when he was overdosing in cocaine and crack. So he's in trouble right now, Hunter Biden. I bet it was, but thanks for supporting the pride. But yeah, you thought, whoa, Trump is, to me, they're on the same level. The only difference is between Donald Trump and Joe Biden is that Donald Trump, all of his dirty info is coming out. So with Donald Trump, he was on Epstein Island. Biden was also on Epstein Island, but the news media is not going to talk about that because it's very, I guess, biased towards a anti-Trump kind of point of view. But the Republicans, to be honest with you, both of them are bad. However, when you're voting this year, you don't vote for the president. Vote for the party. This is what they mean. They mean child marriage. They mean structured home where it's a man and a woman, no trans, no gay, none of that. And even if you're homophobic, you're still going to be wrong because you're going to be voting for pedophilia. So this is the kind of dangers I want people to understand, why it's imperative that you don't. I'm a run a duck. It's imperative, Sloppy, what's going on? It's imperative that you don't vote for Trump, period. The moment you vote for Trump, the moment you vote for Mr. Grab him by the coochie, Mr. I touch my own daughter, Mr. I said my own daughter looks hot, and if she wasn't my daughter, I'll fuck her. Yeah, that Trump, yeah, that kind of person who said that live on air lets you know what kind of family values that he has. Mr. I use the Bible, and I find it very funny how these people get so triggered and get so angry about a freaking rainbow flag being aired on a public display, but yet hear me out. They have no problem with a man who had sex with a prostitute, a man who wished to have sex with his own daughter, sell a freaking Bible book with his name on it, have a gold statue erected of himself. And isn't the Bible against all of that? Isn't the Bible against golden statues of false teachers, the Antichrist? Wouldn't Trump fit the description of that? A man who comes in acting as if he's this savior of mankind, of this guy is a fucking charlatan. He has no fucking values or morals for you. He doesn't even care about his own freaking party. He's a joke. And he's playing with you guys. He's playing this game of bigotry, and you guys are falling for it because you guys want to own the libs. You got to own the libs. It's so fucked up. It's so fucked up. Beagle Boy says, I will admit, I used to treat politics like a game where I will always vote for the winner, as I did support Trump in 2016. Even though I grew up and regret it, the same with Biden in 2020. Now I have no clue who to vote for. Well, I'm telling you right now who to vote for, and it is not Trump, because this is the future for next year if you want this to happen. King Flame Blade, what's going on? Welcome. Yes, he is. Both of them are disgusting. Joe Biden is disgusting and Trump is disgusting. However, one thing about Biden, he's not going to legalize this. With Trump, it's guaranteed. It's freaking guaranteed. The GOP right now, Marjorie Taylor Greene and Mike Johnson, they want to implement next year, starting January, Project 2025, which is the legalization of traditional family values. When they mean by this, they mean by this. They mean by all of this. All of this. This is what they mean. This is what's legal. This has been legalized since 2021, guys. The age of consent is no longer 18 anymore, guys. It dropped to 15 and 16 since 2021. And that was during the time, I believe, post when the GOP get into office. So when Biden got into office as president, that's when the Republican Party of the Congress got into office. The Republican Party legalized the age of consent to drop it to 16 years old. Okay, this is what they did. This was 2021. Okay, this is 1 year, I believe 1 year after Biden got into office. Zachary, what's happening? Yes, long time no see. Arthur and Chayton. Well, Arthur is homophobic, so he's not going to join. He thinks pride is a sin, and he thinks, if you support that, you're the devil worshiper. Money D will probably be in there. He probably will go. But yeah, this is what they want to do. It is imperative, you guys, please listen. Do not, and I repeat, if you don't want child marriage to be a thing, and you don't want them to decrease it to Kansas state to 15, which is the only state in America that's 15, do not vote for Trump, period. Because if you vote for Trump, all of the states are going to be 15 years old. Only one state is 15. Do not vote for Trump. Do not make this law a thing. We need to bump this back to 18. Every last of these 50 fucking states, which are all freaking red states, by the way. They're all Republican states. The purple ones are the Democrats. And they want to talk about the Democrats grooming children. These are the freaking states that banned it. Look at this. Child marriage is illegal. All the Democratic states. So when Republicans talk about, oh, the Democrats trying to legalize this, bitch, your entire freaking party, your states legalize child marriage. Make that make sense. Make that make sense. Make that make sense. Beagle Boy says you may want to look at Hawaii as they have the same color as Texas. I'm not surprised because Hawaii has a huge amount of Republicans living there. Huge amount. Anytime Republicans enter a location and there's a vast quantity of them, you can bet pedophilia is going to be a thing. And this is what's happening. This is what's happening. I'm going to read you the Project 2025. So I'm going to close this out, but I just want to let you guys know this is the map that shows the age of consent. I want this to be very imperative so you guys can understand, so you guys can be well aware. Okay, so you guys can be very much aware of why it is imperative to ban it. You gotta ban that. You got to ban it. It is not okay. It is not okay to have this be the legalized. We need to bump that shit to 18 back. Why is that? Why is that even a thing? And it's been a thing since 2021. We're in 2024. And this election is coming up. And then this is going to be our future. This is what traditional family values means to them. This is what they mean. They talk about drag shows doing this, but look what the fuck they doing. How are you going to talk about drag queens, but yet you doing this kind of shit? Make that make sense. Because that doesn't make sense to me. 2 + 2 doesn't equal 5. It equals 4. Okay? Period. Chase, what's going on? What's happening? Pretty much. Or don't vote at all. Either you vote for Biden or you don't vote for all. I'm not voting for Biden. I'm voting anti-Republican. I'm voting anti-GOP because this is crazy. Look at this. Look at this. Hey, Filer, what's going on? Look at this. This is just crazy. Yeah. This is insane. Not you insane, but this is more insane than you insane. Let's just put it like that. So like Robert, no, but he's an independent, right? He's a libertarian, Robert F. Kennedy Jr., but he still is a Republican. He votes Republican. You know what I mean? They still vote for these kind of values. It's not banned yet. The minimum age of consent is still 16. In 38 states, it's 16. That's the problem. That's the freaking problem. Well, honestly, I could really care. I don't really give a fuck about.
Oh, he just.
Okay, I don't really care whether or not he's a clone. I don't care whether or not he is a reptilian. I don't care whether he's an alien. I don't care. What I do care is not having this be a thing. I don't want this. This needs to be banned. Why is this even legalized? Who like the GOP is responsible for this? They're responsible for that. That's been legalized since 2021.
Oh, God damn it. Now
please ban this shit. Ban it. Get rid of it. That should be 8. It should be 18 in all the freaking states. But I'm going to close this out. I just want to let you see that so you guys can be imperative to knowing all of this. Every time I go to parade, I get asked this question. You have fun at parade. And I hope you say very good things about it, because you can't be a hypocrite and say, pride is a sin. They're worshiping Satan, but you're going to pride parade. So I just want to let you know you support it. You got your flag. You got everything else. So catch that on Fleet. You all up in the pride, okay? King Blade says, I hope they keep it banned. It's not banned yet. It's still legal. Hawaii. Oh yes, Hawaii is also legalized to 15. There's a huge influx of Republicans living in Hawaii, so that's the reason why it's 15. The minimum age is 15. But all of these states are red states, and they're all legalized pedophilia. So yeah, so just want to let you know, just because the law supports it doesn't mean it's moral, and doesn't mean it's okay. All right. Okay, so I'm going to stop this screen, and I'm going to ask you guys how you doing while I look for the other link so I can show you guys. So, Firelord Beagle, you wanna talk? You wanna say some few things for the audience up in here?
Well, the only thing I really have to say on this, and it was something I was going to say earlier before that whole tangent happened, it's just kind of sad that whenever they talk about like the whole pure like family values, they always seem to like kind of stretch it into like
Traditional family values.
Well, yeah, like they literally just kind of like stretch it to where I've even heard like some people actually use the term like natalist. I think I'm saying that right.
Yeah, naturalist. Naturalist. Yeah. This is when they're going against. Okay, so you got there are people who are atheists who don't believe in religion, but they're pro Trump and they are anti LGBT. They don't want none of that because they believe in they believe if you're not straight, you're not right. And thus you need to be like censored, imprisoned, or sent to a conversion therapy kind of thing. And that's what they're doing. So they're not even using religion anymore because they're literally abandoning that in order for their own sort of worldview that they want to implement, which is fascism. That is where it comes down to. And that is what's happening.
Right, but the main point that I was going to bring up is like when they refer to themselves as natalist, it just kind of proves my point that, you know, they only view the whole like childbirth marriage thing as straight up like just a statistic, like, and it's honestly just kind of sad that most of them don't even know what it actually takes to, you know, raise a family, and yet they
don't care about raising families. They abandon. Listen, let me tell you something. A lot of these fathers, why else you think they want to ban abortion? They don't want to give people the right to choose whether or not they want a family. They want to force families onto children. They want to force that. Why else you think they want to keep the age of consent at 16 and lower it to 15, like Kansas and Hawaii? They want to keep it so that way these children could be stuck raising children of their own, and they get them while they're young. Mason, what's happening? They get them while they're young, and then they use and they groom them so that they could easily mold them into a trad wife. Laureen, what's going on, girl? What's happening? Long time no speak. That is what's going on. That is what's happening. And that is what they want to do. You know, that is the end game of it all. That is just their plan from the get-go. You know, that is just what they want to do. As bad as Democrats as I'm trying to be happy, but it's just one of these things. These are just the biggest, like, it's the thing that I've been saying for years, like for about 4 years now I've been saying this, but now people are starting to see it for themselves, and it's becoming it's not a conspiracy now it's fact, and it's really coming into fruition. And I'm just so disappointed in society that we're literally in this state where all of this is trying to be legalized.
Ugh.
And don't even get me started on the folks who pretty much want to say that legalizing no-fault divorce ended up killing the nuclear family.
Yes. So that's another thing they're trying to do. That's part. We're going to read the Project 2025, which is this article here from the Newsweek. They want to end divorce because, biblically speaking, you're not supposed to get a divorce. Once you get married, that's it. The only way you can leave the marriage is if the husband kills you, or the husband dies from natural causes, or the wife dies from natural causes.
Fucking kill me.
That's what they did in the Old Testament. That was the rules in the Old Testament. There was no such thing as divorce, and the only way you can leave the marriage is if your husband is, if he dies, or he kills you, you know? And that's the only way, or you die, and that's the only way.
Yeah, which is really unfortunate because
Well,
I mean,
listen, let me tell you something, Eric. Fuck Hollywood. But let me be honest with you. Right now, Hollywood is not your target right now. This right here is your real target, because this is where reality is going to shape foot for us black people. It's going to be a thing, because what's going to happen is that they want the good old days, the 1920s and the 1910s, where black people were gentrified, Jim Crow style. Segregation, that's what I mean. Firelord, you got anything else to say before I read this article?
Well, to put it simply, this is so goddamn.
I just go ahead.
To be simply and brutally honest with you, to be everything that I witnessed it just goes to show that legalizing pedophilia is so goddamn atrocious, and to the point that they are willing to let this happen. And everything that even you have told me about this beforehand, CDB. This is no. Let's not fool ourselves with that.
I have many of times.
And the fact that if people like kept ignoring this, even I'm gonna have to ask some particular questions to Beagle Boy. Does this make you sick of what you're witnessing here, Beagle Boy?
yes.
So am
Does
I.
it make you regret voting for Trump?
Okay,
Because when
well,
you did that, you put those people in a lot of people don't know this. It's not just Trump being in office, it's the people in Congress. Because when you vote for a president, you vote for the election for Congress. And those people who is part of that party that works for Trump gets into office in the Congress. So the people that you see in Congress today is not from Biden. That's Trump's party. That's Trump's people.
okay, well, to verify what I was saying in the private chat, technically I wasn't old enough to vote at the time when Trump first ran. So when I say vote, I wasn't legal. I wasn't old enough to really like vote and fill out a ballot. So I should have used a different word, like when I say support. But that time I was a really dumb teenager. I wasn't exactly thinking the most clearly at the time. So technically the first president I ever did legally vote for becoming of age was Biden. I want to make that clear.
Yeah. Yeah, because a lot of people, especially during 2016, we had two people running for office. It was Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump. I knew from this election that Hillary Clinton wasn't going to win because she's a female, number one. Trump is a male. And when it comes to the vast majority of America, a majority of America are misogynists. They're not going to want a female as president. They don't want to let a female rule a country, because they're patriotic, they have a lot of pride, and they have a lot of, manhood to show off. And Trump represents that. That's why Trump is seen as the face of the GOP, of the conservative movement, because he went up against a woman and he won. And they see him as this man is going to stand for finally the values that we wanted, kick out all the illegal immigrants, build that wall within Mexico that he never built, and trying to create a white ethno state. This is what Trump was saying and constantly saying from 2016 up until 2020. And then here comes 2021. He's no longer in office. Biden is in office. However, Trump let his little minions in a position of power in Congress. So now we got Marjorie, man-faced dog, the bounty hunter, man-looking butch built body Green. And then we got grab him by the dick, Mike Johnson, who is in trouble already for having a teenage black son that he didn't legally adopt, which was actually his sex buddy that he was having sex with, but we won't go there. and he adopted him so that he can legally have consent relations with that black boy who's now a man who he adopted. So
I mean, I already knew not to trust Mike Johnson pretty much as is. Like, I think I even remember.
Look it up,
like,
guys. It's just all facts. You can type Mike Johnson's black son, and you'll see all the tea you need to see.
Yeah, but basically, I already knew not to trust Mike Johnson literally as is, because I thought, like, you know, first few weeks after he replaced McCarthy as speaker, I remembered, like, seeing an article where, like, him and his son literally, like, were monitoring each other's, like,
porn habits,
porn consumption.
Yeah. He watched his own son basically masturbate and was advising him to, you know, what kind of porn you like. Who the fuck does that? It was his black son, which son as in legal adoption. However, the relationship that they had, it was confirmed that they were actually, that was not just his son, that was his mistress that he had, male mistress.
Well, yeah, but it's like, since he's usually the one who says the whole "I've been put into this position because it was God's will," but I'm like,
they always say that. That's their excuse. That's their excuse. They are bastardizing Christianity. If you want to blame for the decline of Christianity, look no further than the Republicans, the MAGAs, the ones who will worship a golden statue, which the Old Testament God destroyed tons of cities for worshiping a golden statue of a bull. Now you got a golden statue of Trump that they're worshiping. They want to worship his gold sneakers, which is a form of idol worship, as it's against their own Bible. But it shows that they don't really give a fuck about the Bible. It's not about the Bible. They don't care about the Bible. What they care about is bigotry and using religion as an excuse. So that way they can use religion the same way they use religion to enslave black people and to genocide the Native Americans. It's the same thing. History repeats itself. Okay?
And unfortunately,
it rhymes.
Unfortunately, this is all what it actually came down to. This, and it honestly, look, I'll just let the clip speak for itself.
It speaks directly for itself. They do. That's who does it. They do. This is what they're doing. This is exactly what they're doing. And they don't give a fuck about the Bible. These people are far from biblical. These people hire hookers. These people sleep with multiple women, which is a sin against the Bible, by the way. And these are the same people that wants to target the LGBT and call them sick sinners. But yet these are the same people that will have no problem putting a man who fucked a prostitute, who committed so much adultery, which is one of the biggest sins in this freaking hey Nova, what's going on? Which is one of the biggest sins in the Bible, adultery. They violate that, go against that, but yet they want to demonize the LGBT and get rid of them and say that they're the bad sinners, are going against God's will. When we know damn well they don't give a fuck about God's will. They don't. It's not about God's will. It's about bigoted rights. It's about my free speech. It's about hate speech and using religion as an excuse, as a forefront to exercise that into the public and create a white ethno country.
The best way I can literally summarize all of what you said there: money and power may corrupt all, but neither should be an excuse for one's lack of integrity.
Do you want me to say something?
Which is
unfortunately, they have no integrity.
A lot.
They have none. Nova, go. Welcome. What do you have to say?
Yeah, this whole thing about it being a sin, yeah, that's all gotta be bullshit. Why? Because I went to Catholic school before.
Mm-hmm.
And for those who don't know, I don't mean to shove it down, but it is said that all Christians must accept people's true sexualities.
Which they don't.
Mm-hmm. So how the fuck are you going to be like Catholic and Christian and all when yet you hate gay people and things like that?
Because they're using it to justify the hate, because they're trying to say it's a sin, so they're using it to try to, persecute them.
Mm-hmm. And they have a good reputation, apparently, according to them. Well, okay, I'm not saying they said it, but they think that, you know,
They don't care that it didn't listen. They don't care. It's not about whether or not it's a reputation. It's their own prejudice.
yeah.
And if they could use a book to try to institute that, then that's what they're going to do. They're going to use a
And
book
yet-
to institute that.
and
It's
yet
what
they're
they
trying
did to black people 110 years ago.
And yet they're trying to legalize child marriage.
Child marriage. 38 states. 38 states.
Aye, aye, aye.
That's why I call them the Christian Taliban, because that's what they are, Omega. The
Oh.
the Christo Taliban. That's what they are. That's what they're trying. That's what these Republicans trying to do. That's what they're trying to do, and they're trying to legalize incest on top of that.
Oh, no, 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 no.
Yum.
No. This country does
That's
not
what
need
they're
that
doing.
kind of law.
Yeah.
I cannot fucking believe this. They have become into fucking Christian.
It's
town
not just
that-
white people. It's black people. It's Hispanic people. It's all of them. It's people who vote for them.
This has
People
nothing to do with
who
race.
people who are part of. It's mostly white men. It's mostly white men. White men are the leaders of that.
I mean,
But
yeah.
it's like all like it's like a different multitude. But majority, I would say about give or take 68, 69% white men.
Yeah, it's an ongoing trend with these people.
honestly,
And it's
Nova.
despicable. It's disgusting.
Honestly, Nova and Big Boy, and especially UZTB, this is what the state is turning into, a goddamn Christian Taliban, as you pointed it, as you said it, right then and there. ZTB.
Exactly. There's no difference between the Taliban and America in terms of what the GOP wants.
This is solely the reason
Yeah.
why they're willing, and this is the worst thing that I would hate to see that happening is that they actually implement the Sharia law.
That
Trust
will
me.
come once they get rid of women's rights.
Trust me,
Oh God.
And that's
Trust
part
me,
of Project
Firelord.
2025.
Say Big Boy.
trust me, Firelord. If you were in the state that I'm from, you would probably see the way they run things. It's pretty much the closest you're gonna get to a Christian Sharia law. I'll
Law.
say which. I'll type it
Sharia
in the
law.
private- I'll type it in the private chat. That way you guys can. That way you guys can see it for yourselves.
Oh my fucking god!
Alrighty.
I can't fucking believe that this is the only Christian state that I'll ever get to see.
They've always had a whole month. The reason why they have a whole month is the same reason why black people have a whole month. They have a whole month because they have been persecuted for pretty much the entirety of the American duration. They've been denied so many rights from the vast majority of people and been persecuted because they are the minority. You know, it's the same reason why we don't have a White History Month. You don't need one because you are the majority. You take up the most of everything. The franchises, the religion, everything. The media, it's mostly hetero. It is not homo, and homo has been treated with disrespect because it's just like with black people. That's why I have to compare it, because it's very similar. Granted, black people went through worse atrocities, so we're not even going to get into this oppression Olympics, but yeah.
You know,
No.
as a white person myself, I can see why there's no White History Month.
Yeah, because you have it for 11 months.
hmm Also, why the fuck do they want to get rid of women's rights? Whatever.
Because they want to control women. They want to. The ultimatum is to create traditional family values. That means getting rid of white women in power, black women in power, Asian women in power, Hispanic women in power,
Wow.
and to keep them as housewives and to celebrate that, like the show Leave It to Beaver.
Yeah, well, I was about to ask, like, what the fuck did women ever do to them?
A lot of white men hate their own mother. They hate their own moms, and they feel like they want. That's why there's a huge influx of incels, and they want to control that and use that to
Motherfuckers.
have a superior. That's how patriotic. That's how patriarchy happens, because it happens with anti-female.
Motherfuckers.
Yeah, I mean, we got 11 months of Yakubian History Month. We have 11 months of that.
Well,
Actually,
we're not
no,
gonna-
scratch that. We have 10 months of that because February is Black History Month.
Well, without delaying any further, let's see the article that you are going to show it. This particular
Yeah.
one.
Yeah. Let me go to it.
The Heritage Foundation. Ugh.
I'm guessing that's the lips of Donald Trump. I don't know.
That is the lips of Donald Trump. Grab him by the hoo-ha.
Wow.
Wrong.
So this is Project 2025. I want you guys to know this is what's going to be implemented next year. And it's very important that you guys understand this is an imperative thing that you guys need to listen to. I showed a brief demonstration earlier with the states and legalization of age of consent and what they want to do. Any before I read, any you guys have any like previous thoughts before I start reading?
Well, for one thing, I'm really afraid about like what this country has become because I believe like most people, not all of them, because I don't want to say all lives matter because that's not true. Most people deserve
It
rights,
doesn't.
right? I mean, I like to believe that I deserve rights because um, as a person who's androgynous, I just want to fight for
That
who
means
I am.
non-binary, guys. He's
Yeah.
non-binary.
Yeah.
Fire Lord,
I don't have any words to say.
Beagle.
Only thing I can really say is, let's get this shit on the road.
Here we go. Let me scroll down. Okay. So while the 2024 presidential election is still 9 months away, there appears to be a not slim chance that the former president Donald Trump could make his return to the White House. Most of the polls shows him in the lead against President Joe Biden, so there's a big chance that Trump could be president. Though this could change in the months to come, mind you, this is made in February. The former president has previously committed to being a dictator since day one if he were to gain power again. While there have been arguments on whether Trump words are hyperbole or literal, there is at least one group apparently scheming to assist with these dictatorial tendencies through a plan called Project 2025. That is the Congress in office. That is where Marjorie Taylor Greene and Mike Johnson reside in.
Scheming to assist with these dictatorial tendencies.
Yep.
Blacks never had real rights. What are you talking about? I like to think they do.
Well, we
What
have
the
rights,
hell?
but we don't. It's going to be minimal. Like you guys haven't seen anything yet. They're trying to bring back Jim Crow.
Oh yeah.
Part of Project 2025. Okay, so let me keep reading. While the plan has not gained significant amounts of traction in the national news media, Project 2025 is the brainchild of a conservative think tank called the Heritage Foundation. This is very important. The foundation is collaborating with at least 80 other conservative groups to spearhead an effort to rescue the country from the grips of the radical left, with a governing agenda and the right people in place, ready to carry this agenda out on day one of the next conservative administration.
According
So
to
as soon
Project
as
25,
January begins, that's when it starts. Many in opposition to the plan have alleged that Project 2025 is part of a greater effort by conservatives to turn the United States into Trump-led autocracy. Does Project 2025 entail, and why are some political scientists afraid of its effect on democracy? What is Project 2025? It is a mission to dismantle the federal government and replace it with a vision.
He'll come back.
It is a mission.
I'm here. Can you guys hear me?
No,
Yes,
yeah.
Okay. I want to make sure because something on my microphone.
Yes,
it is a mission to. Oh, you reading it, Firelord?
Yes, I'm reading it. It is a
Okay. Well, you take over.
Yes, it is a mission to dismantle the federal government and replace it with a vision closer to Trump's own the Associated Press said it is essentially a government in waiting for the former president's return, or any candidate who aligns with their ideals. The full Project 2025 consists of a 920-page outline that mandates four doctrines to implement in the event of a conservative presidency. The first is to restore the family as a centerpiece of American life and protect our children, the outline said. The second doctrine,
Protect your children, yet voting for the age of consent mean 15 years old. The fuck out of here.
yes, hell out of here.
Continue.
The
Continue.
The second doctrine is to dismantle the administrative state and return self-governance to the American people.
By voting for Putin and making Putin and Russia take over America. Yeah, that's smart. That's real patriotic, people. You guys spit on the veterans' face with trying to get into Putin and making Putin and Trump legalize the plot into ushering this from Russia, the rights that Russia have, into America.
Fucking retards.
Stupid ass bastards. Go ahead.
Well, how's it any different than the American counterpart of what Russia is doing? Before I continue reading this.
Well, whatever. Well, see, Trump is good friends with Putin, and the Russian militia has been taking over in social media. They've also been taking over with the politicians that are in office, especially in the Congress. Marjorie Taylor Greene and Mike Johnson compromise their rights for Putin's legacy because they are willing to have Russia take over and have that. And I'm going to show you an article where Marjorie Taylor Greene endorses Putin, and she's a member of the Congress, as well as Mike Johnson.
Ouch. God damn it.
You guys are still here?
I'm still here.
Yeah, I'm still here.
Okay.
Hang on, I'll be right back.
Okay. Okay. All right.
Continuing on. Third, Project 2025 will defend our nation's sovereignty, borders, and bounty against global threats. I don't get this. I don't get this. And the last doctrine of the project is to secure our God-given individual rights to live freely. We'll argue with that. What our Constitution calls...
It's not God-given, though. They're going against their own Bible. So how is it God-given? How is it God-given when you're marrying children? When you want to decrease the age of consent to 15? How is it God-given when you're not even following Jesus' teachings and not loving thy neighbor, not respecting and not discriminating, not trying to enforce your values and beliefs on other people and make them into your own image? That's not godly. That's complete fascist. That's antichrist like.
What our Constitution calls the blessings of liberty. The main goal of these four tenets will be to execute a sweeping expansion of presidential power over the machinery of government if voters return Trump to the White House in 2025. The majority of the plan will be implemented during the transition period of 180 days that the project is calling its playbook.
Yep. 180 days. And that's when it fully is going to take into effect. 180 days. So we're talking about from January.
Yes.
Keep going.
As the project's outline shows, this would involve the consolidation and retooling of dozens of federal agencies to place them fully under Trump's auspices. The project is mostly based on a legal principle called the unitary executive theory, which asserts that the President of the United States has complete power to control the executive branch of the government. The theory is an interpretation.
Which means,
Article.
in case you guys don't know, that means they can override Congress. So once this happens, once Trump gets into office, this means the Congress will no longer be in position of power. So that means that the president will have the ultimate control, and it will never go through Congress.
I'm back.
All Congress has to do is sign on that. So far, Congress hasn't did that because Biden didn't allow that to pass. But if Trump gets into office, then this will happen. So no longer it will go through Congress in order to get approved. Now it will just go straight directly to Trump.
So catch me up onto speed. Something I missed.
Yeah, what's going to happen is that within 180 days, if Trump gets elected, Congress will be completely dismantled and Congress will no longer be in power. Now, Trump will be the official authority, and everything that gets sent into the executive branch, which is to Congress, will get directly sent to Trump. And Trump will make the final say on everything. So it won't even have to go to Congress to get approved now. Now, all Trump has to do is sign on that, and that's it.
That's what that is, Nova.
We're going to hell.
Yeah.
aren't we?
hmm
Okay, so the Article 2 of the U.S. Constitution, which states that the country's executive power shall be vested in the president.
Okay. Yeah. Vested in the president. So that means all of the power, the last statement, which states that the country's executive power shall be vested in the president, which means the president shall have the ultimate control of the country. This is exactly, if you read George Orwell, I'm going to give you some little conspiracy here. If you read George Orwell 1984, this is exactly what had taken place. When the Congress removes its power and the states remove their power and give it fully to the president. So the president can essentially become a dictator, because this is dictatorship, because there are laws set in place to ensure that the president doesn't have complete control. And we do that so that way, in case the president goes out of hand, we have the states that are protected from any presidential form of, dictatorship that could take place. Any irrational choices the president will make, the states don't have to fully abide by it. And that's why we have that. Once this happened and the executive power is gone, then, Trump will be the person in control fully. And no one could stop him at that point.
I don't see how people can put up with that fucking.
The GOP, the Republicans did. The GOP did.
Yeah.
See why it's imperative? I'm letting you know, guys.
He's not even like a real politician. He's just a businessman.
He's a businessman that created a cult.
Yeah.
And that cult is worship of him. He's worship as like this deity, this orange fat blob, mushroom dick deity. Like, that's what he is.
I don't mean to go off topic, but like, how the fuck does this guy even know how to run a country?
He doesn't. He lets his people, his followers, and his people that the people that he has in office, like Marjorie and Matt Gaetz and George Santos, who's no longer in Congress, and Mike Johnson. Yeah. He lets those people, implement the rules and the legislations in order to complete the task at hand.
This is the same guy that went into bankruptcy like 5 times, I think.
This is the same guy that is, and the same guy who's a convicted felon, for rape. This is the same guy that was confirmed live on TV air that he went to Jeffrey Epstein's island 7 times.
Oh, well, I guess The Apprentice is not getting a revival.
Certainly not. And I'm pretty sure the people who were on The Apprentice didn't know about what was going on with Trump back then. So you can give them the saving grace for that.
I think it's a good thing. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but I think it's a good thing because like that show was shit anyway. It was boring. It was
boring and it was toxic. It was very toxic. And it involves just this. It's very scripted too, but it was also very catty and very destructive because it makes celebrities go against each other and fight for power. kind of like what's happening in the political spectrum.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So anyway, back to what we're talking about.
Back to the article. Fire Lord,
Proponents.
continue. Proponents.
Of the unitary executive theory, including those in charge
Mhm.
of Project 2025, argued that this vesting of power in Article 2 gives the president complete control of the executive branch, so Congress cannot empower agency heads to make decisions or restrict the president's ability to fire them. Now, this is actually what you alluded to, and
Yep.
honestly, you directly alluded to.
Yep, directly.
The theory is often.
And I'm going to read that quote again, that you, in case you guys missed it, because Fire Lord was reading it, and you guys may have glanced over it. It says, and I'm going to reread what he just mentioned. Proponents of the unitary executive theory, including those in charge of the Project 2025, argue that this vesting power of the power in Article 2, this is important, you guys, gives the president complete control of the executive branch. So the Congress cannot empower agencies heads to make decisions or restrict the president's ability to fire them. So that means the Congress can't get rid of the president anymore. That means we can't impeach any more presidents. So we're stuck with them. That's what happened with Russia and Putin.
Yeah, we don't
You
want to end
voted
up
for
like
that, motherfucker, and this is the price you're going to have to pay. For the people out here watching. This is the price you're going to have to pay. This is what you're going to have to deal with. You're hiring and legalizing a dictator. You can't even impeach the man.
And let me tell you something. If you regret,
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
You can't even impeach the man once this happens, because once the Congress gives the full power, Trump is going to be the permanent president.
I'm going to tell you something. Like, if you regret voting for Trump, then that just shows how fucking oblivious you really are.
Blinded by propaganda. This is the real deal, Holyfield. This is what's happened, and I'm quoting Will because Will liked to say that, so I'm using Will. Will took my catch that on Fleek, so I'm gonna take his real deal, Holyfield. This is what's happening. So this is exactly what's going on.
And to add insult to injury, America will become the communist way of
Exactly.
based on how China is doing, and especially
Like China, like North Korea, like Cuba, like Russia. Yeah.
Yes, somewhat Russia, even though
A lot like Russia.
even though Russia was kind of different in its own time.
But now it's becoming a major influence to the American population, when before they didn't have that much influence because we went against Russia.
Look,
we were enemies.
This may sound extreme, and I apologize if I sound a bit extreme when I'm about
Go
to say
ahead.
this, but I hope Trump gets killed in that fucking Ukraine war.
Honestly, I'm pretty sure you and a lot of people wish the same, because this is a nightmare and coming into fruition. And these people don't realize how this is going to affect their daily lives. They think they're going to stick it to the gays, the blacks, the women, but they don't realize how even white men are going to be affected by this.
Yeah. Oh yeah, please forgive me for stuttering. It's like 12:11, so.
Oh no, it's 12:11
No,
over
it's all
here.
right.
Don't worry about it.
Okay.
You all Gucci fam. Don't worry about it.
Fear is often
Oh.
a point of debate among scholars, but has been championed by conservatives. We'll argue about that in a moment. The Reagan administration first developed the theory as they sought to invent a deregulatory agenda.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, holy fuck. Why did it even mention the conservatives? This I do not understand.
Because they are responsible for it.
Yeah.
They voted for it.
Motherfuckers. And I thought we wouldn't get any worse.
Yes, there were 8 original presidents that were not slaves, but they were African American. Some were mulatto mix. Some of them were mixed with Native American, but they were people of color, and they were before George Washington. Yeah, that is completely true. And they came from the UK, they came from Ireland, and they were there in the UK, and they came on the ship and during the colonial era.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought the conservatives were And I thought the conservatism couldn't be any worse in European countries.
Oh no, because they're having a great deal influence of what's
I meant
happening in
in
Uganda.
I meant in Europe, not African countries.
No, it's all over. But in Africa, you know what they're doing? They're sending money, funding Uganda for what they're doing to the lesbians, the gays, the trans, and putting them in prison and saying, because it's illegal to be, it's illegal to be lesbian, gay, and trans in Uganda. You can go to prison for it, and you can get killed for it. And what's happening is that the Republicans are funding so that they can continue to do it, so they can do it to other countries. And they're already having influence with the Brexit and the Tories in the UK. So then there's that.
What's their beef with lesbians? I like looking at lesbians.
Right. Well, they don't like it.
What for, though? Being gay?
Because they're homophobic.
Oh, yeah. Well, okay.
That's the obvious answer to that.
Okay,
they're homophobic, and they don't like women in power. Yeah, they don't like women in power. So yeah.
The plan would also seek to fill the government with Trump loyalists by scouring records and social media accounts to rule out heretics, effectively administering loyalty tests.
I'm going to be real, and I'm sure some of you may agree with me on this, but anyone who is against women of power deserve to go to hell. I'm just going to be real.
Well, they think the opposite. They think people who don't agree with that goes to hell. Yeah, because they believe in a patriarchy. They believe that Adam, which is not Adam as the person who I have an issue with, Adam as an Adam from the Bible, is the original man. And so men are supposed to be leading in charge of the family and power, doing everything they could to rule everything.
What about
and only men are supposed to be in power. So that's why they're against women, because they feel women are nothing more than properties to a man and secondary to a man.
What about Eve?
That's how they think of Eve. They think of Eve as property.
Yeah, but okay, Adam.
They don't value women. They don't value them.
There's a reason why we're alive today. So to think that, whatever.
You can't make sense of it because they don't have logic. Their logic is, I'm pro men, right? I'm pro men rights. However, I'm against women, and you're against your own mom, and you're against your own maternal aspects, because they have a sense of misogyny and insecurity and small dick syndrome. And so that's what they pretty much have. Those Andrew Tate people, the same guy who's in trouble right now for sexually trafficking 16 and 15-year-old girls and having sex with them, the same pedo that wants to call gay people groomers, he's the groomer himself. Every accusation is a confession.
Yeah, fuck Andrew Tate, by the way. I don't know what Aisha Speed sees in that guy.
Ass.
Okay, so continuing, scouring records and social media accounts to rule out heretics, effectively administering loyalty tests, launching a so-called...
Omega, what's going on? Welcome.
Hey, what's up?
Hello, Omega.
Hey, I'm on my phone, so I'm not coming out. This is my first live stream doing over the phone. So how am I doing?
You sound pretty lit. You sound pretty good.
Okay.
Nice.
And launching a so-called Presidential Administration Academy that tutors future MAGA bureaucrats. So they're willing to go as far as to rule out heretics on social media, which is all
using social media. Remember on Twitter, like I showed you, of how they how they wanted to say it's okay to rape 13-year-old girls in their asses and say that it's fine. And mind you, this is why I was suspended, by the way. I said all rapists should get shot. Yeah, and Elon banned me for wishing violence and harm on people who support rape and rape and pedophilia, and I was banned for that, literally banned for that. And this guy who talked about it was okay to rape 13-year-old girls, not only was he not banned, his ban against me was permanent. And my report against him was rejected.
So, wait. So
Omega Magic, yeah. So now, Chase, now you're understanding why we need to have an entire
Hey,
month,
Chase, I'm
just
on
like
the
with
phone.
Black History Month being an entire month. The same thing with Pride Month being an entire month. It's a month to celebrate. It's a month to celebrate, and veterans have their own month too. It's not just Veterans Day. I believe their month is either March or May, one of those two. I have to check, but they have an entire month dedicated to them. So
And
it's
two
not
federal
just that.
holidays.
So-
Two
so
federal
when
holidays
Elon-
dedicated to them too. Memorial Day and Veterans Day.
Veterans Day, exactly.
So when Elon banned you, because some guy said it's okay to rape an underage girl, I always wonder, is that the entire political view of South Africa? Is that how they think?
Yeah, because he's from apartheid South Africa, which is, in case you guys don't know what apartheid is a regime that happened in South Africa, which created a system where white rich families are able to have the best benefits, the best house, the best medical care, the best form of treatment, and they're able to live in a gentrified community away from the dirty Negroes, as what they would call it, and literally segregate themselves, kind of like how in America, where we have the suburbs and we have all white suburbs, and people like us, we live in the ghetto, we live in the hood. Well, I don't live in the ghetto anymore, but I'm just saying they this is what they would have. May, okay, it's May, okay, yeah, May. So right before June, okay, there you go, and they that's what apartheid is. And Elon comes from that. Elon comes from a place in South Africa where blacks and whites were segregated, and only white people had the best form of education, finance, housing, medical care, and blacks were not allowed. Blacks had all of the crappy sort of life in order to live in their own freaking country. You know what I mean? And white people had financial resources from Europe that they were able to import from the Europe to South Africa.
If that's how Elon was raised, then he should have just stayed in South Africa.
His ass wanted to come to America because he wanted to dominate and use his opportunities that he had in South Africa to implement his whatever he wants to do.
It's no wonder why he got booed in Dave Chappelle's live show.
Because nobody likes him. That's why his ex-wife left him for a trans woman.
Good.
And that's why his own trans daughter don't even love him and said, "I wish you were dead."
I mean,
Catch that on Fleek.
It's not surprised because even I run into on YouTube, there's debates on child marriage, especially heavily in the red pill community I've seen recently. And mind you, I ran into one of them, and it's I want to eliminate on child marriage. We're not talking about 14-year-olds marrying other 14-year-olds. We ain't talking about a 13-year-old girl marrying a 16-year-old boy. Hell, we ain't even talking about a 16-year-old girl marrying a 13-year-old boy. We talking about 10-year-old people who are as young as 9 or even 8 years old.
You heard about what's happening in Arkansas, right, with Sarah Huckabee Sanders? She's trying to legalize child work, which means children can go work from ages 7, I believe. They're trying to make sure that children can go into labor so that they could work in the workforce from ages 7 with no medical coverage or any sort of insurance to go with that while they're in school.
And a kid already died. I heard about a kid dying in a factory. He got
Sexy, what's going on? Long time. Yeah, girl, it is happening.
Oh,
it
my
is
sexy
pure.
goddess. Yes, baby.
Disgusting. Now you made Omega horny. Salute to you, girl. What's going on? But this is the sick stuff that's happening, and this is why I say do not vote for Trump, because this is going to be the reality where the Congress no longer exists.
And the sad part about this, my friend,
in Arkansas, what's going on is that, first of all, child marriage is legal at 16 years old. They want to down that to 10 when Trump gets into office. Then what Sarah Huckabee Sanders mentioned is that she wants to make child labor laws from ages 7. so that the moment they're old enough to hold, comprehend things, and able to assist, that's what they want to do. And that is what Sarah Huckabee Sanders is trying to do. She needs to be straight up taken out of Arkansas, but Arkansas is doomed as it is because they're heavily dominated by the GOP. They're heavily dominated by Republicans. And a lot of people in Arkansas, I'm going to say this, and please don't get offended by this. A lot of people in Arkansas are retarded, and a lot of them are inbred, like Alabama.
I was about to say this too. I'm going to show a picture real quick. Like the entire state looks like a good state right here. I'm just showing a picture, if you don't mind. It looks like a very cool state, but the people in there, they're very shitty, and like you said, they are retarded. So I guess the old saying is true: don't judge a book by its cover.
Never do. You can see a state and think that it's all okay, but deep down, it's not. It's disgusting.
Yeah, you can see
the people make it disgusting.
Yeah, you can see why I put in the private chat, right?
Well, undercover ones, we call those log cabin Republicans.
Okay, well, I don't. You know what I mean by that. People who are
stupid people. People, not obviously not gay people, but like people who are just shitty people, like people who are like literally have the worst values, like completely.
And I know I said this before, but it's all true. I wish society would go back to the way it was, like from the 90s until 2015.
Oh, and that's speaking of abuse. That is why they don't want sex education to be taught in schools. They want to keep they want to keep children blissfully aware of what sex is, so it's easier for people to groom them and rape them. Because if kids know what sex is and what kind of sex is, then kids will know that, hey, what you're doing to me is violating my body. And what they want is they want to have complete control, so that kids are unaware. Because if you're unaware that you're being molested, if you're unaware that you're being raped, then they can continue to do it, and you won't like go to the cops or tell your parents, because to you it would just be like, oh, this feels good. It's not a bad thing, because you're not aware of what the dangers that are happening. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I want to respond to the other dude. I forgot.
And that's what happened in Florida with Ron DeSantis. Go ahead, Omega. Exactly, girl. That's exactly what happened.
Okay, Omega, you go first, and then I'll go after, because I need to add on something in terms of child labor. So go on ahead, Omega.
Unconscious slave, exactly.
Yeah, basically, I want to say go all the way back to the 90s to the 2015. I would say, as far if we were to go back, I would say just go to 2000s. I mean, economically and politically, I would say just 2000s. But like I only want to go back to 90s as far as like social media, or not social media, but pop culture wise. You know what I'm saying? Like reap the benefits of this pop culture in the 90s. But go ahead. You go ahead.
Okay, so
people use pagan. Kevin, what's going on, man? People use pagan holidays as an excuses. Well, that's not okay. Yeah. They're not using pagan holidays as an excuses. They're using the Bible and religion as an excuse to do what they're doing. They're using Christianity. They're using Catholicism.
Yeah, I'm gonna head out
as an excuse. See
y'all later.
All right, Nova. Thank you for coming.
You're welcome.
Damn, I don't feel like I don't mean to cut off Nova.
To actually add on to this.
Oh no, he just left because he had to go because he has to get up early.
Oh, so wrong dude. Sorry. Go ahead.
To add on to this, in terms of child labors, it is goddamn illegal in any countries. Well, it won't be illegal anymore in America, because they're deliberately going to get at child labors there. Because if you would have looked at what was happening in the Metal Gear Solid, which honestly you could have seen in that one, because they allow child labor and they use childs. Doesn't matter if it's a child labor. It doesn't matter.
And that game was based on George Orwell's book 1984, where that was predicted that will happen.
And this is unfortunately.
And now it's the reality.
And it's unfortunate that we're living in
reality stranger than fiction.
And it's a goddamn shame that we're going to be living in this reality, that this is going to be goddamn nightmare. And they even allow
Christian, more like dumb. Yeah, exactly. Well, they put the dumb in Christendom. Let's just put it like that.
Yeah. To put it simply, Even they deliberately allow child soldiers, which is also illegal in many states because that is considered a crime against humanity.
Well, see, they don't care about the humanity in terms of morals. Their morals is we are the ones in power. We can do what we want. You can't do nothing. You want liberty and freedom. You want to be woke. And thus, we want to be anti-woke. And how we do it? Well, we're going to legalize pedophilia. We're going to legalize child marriage. We're going to legalize child labor. We're going to put women back in the kitchen. And we're going to bring back traditional family values. And we're going to make sure that we have a white ethno country and make sure white people are in white males, straight white males, cis, are in control of every last thing. And we're going to make it just like how Russia is. And that is what they're trying to do.
And even if they do try to be like Russia, it will fail goddamn miserably. And even if it does go with it will eventually backfire on them. It doesn't matter how bad this is going to go. They should have known that something eventually will blow up in their goddamn face, not knowing the fact that this will go in shambles. And I'm not trying to sound like I'm not trying to sound like I'm preaching at the victory. That I'm simply saying.
No, you preaching to the freaking choir. You preaching to the people who need to freaking hear that. Period.
What do you mean, ZDB?
No, you're what you're doing is that you're preaching to the right people. You're like your opinions is going forth so that they could understand and they could hear it. You know.
Were you talking to me or
you and Omega?
Oh, okay. Although this is only a fruit, because take a look at the example. This is by no means am I trying to support anything, but this simply refers. I'm simply referring to the people who are old school Christians that doesn't act like those goddamn motherfuckers that are
well,
big ass.
See, those when I say old school, you're referring to people who legitimately put their faith and follow suit to what the faith tells them to do. What happened? These people are also old school too, but you also have old school bigots. Because you can't say old school Christians and say that that's like the standard for Christianity, because you have Christianity existed for a very long time, and it was used as an oppression. It's nothing of the sort. In fact, Christianity is against Christ, to be honest with you. And if Christ would have seen the Bible, Christ would just burn it too, because Christ is very liberal, like extremely liberal, and he would not support what people would use the Bible for. He probably wouldn't even support the Bible. I'm going to be real with you.
I would say to this point, I feel like I would kind of agree with him to this point, as much as I give crap to Christians. As far as Christians are good people, but like the extremists in Christianity are bad people.
Exactly.
Like
but
I
it's
see Christians, like I engage with Christians, like, and especially out of respect for my mama too. Even though I told her,
oh yeah, your family and everyone else. Like my family is Christian too. However, they understand the difference between faith and authoritarian. And that's something that these people don't get it. These people don't have respect. These people don't let live and live. They want to let live and control. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They don't want to have their own faith and their own personal virtue. Everyone has their morals. Everyone has what they support and what they not support. You can't force people to support whatever you want them to support. But as a person who is living in this country, in America, which is a value of freedom and respect, you need to respect other people's life, even if you don't support it. But you cannot vote against it because it's not your call. That's very unchristian-like. Whether you support it or not, you can be indifferent and just say, "Hey, I don't support it, but I'm not going to stop you, or I'm not going to vote against your interests." But these people want to vote against your interests. They want to vote against your rights. They want to override it. And that's what's happening.
And to add insult to injury, and I will definitely continue reading this after I put my words out there.
Sexy, yeah.
I don't really, let's put it, it's not just extremist Christians. There's also a fake Christians that are pretending to be Christians, but in reality all they care about is condoning a pedophilia, even though they themselves says that they don't condone
Yeah,
pedophilia.
they're bigots. They're like the West Baptist Borough Church, but they are people who adhere to the Christian faith, but they only use it as a form of hate speech, as a form of oppression, as a form of invalidating someone else. Because you're not, first of all, you're not supposed to demonize anyone for sinning. That's number one. You know, that's up to God. And according to Christianity faith, no human is supposed to judge anyone for their sins. Okay?
Or
That is
commit
up to the law.
adultery.
It's up to two things, the law and God. And that is the people who exercise that. If it's against the law, if it's against the law of the country, the law of the land, then that's different. And if it's against God, then that is against their own God. However, you are not allowed to control, mandate, or belittle someone for their own life of whatever they want to live that goes against your own sinful sort of practices. And that's exactly what they're doing. They're violating that and overriding that, so that way they can put a Christo-fascist state or Christo ethno state, and that's what they want. They want to force feed people by going into law, altering it so that no one could have the rights, so that we can get rid of abortion, you can get rid of gay marriage, you can get rid of gender affirming care, you can get rid of black people and affirmative action, you can get rid of the rights that black people have in this country, of brown people have in this country, of yellow people have in this country, of red, of all the colors of the rainbow. Get rid of them and only make sure that white, male, cis, and straight have the ultimatum. And not just that, not just white, cis, straight, and male, but white, cis, straight, and male, and Christian. Their version of Christian, which means atheists. If you're atheist, you're going to have to either be forced to be a Christian. You can't be even atheist. You can't even be a pagan. You can't even be a freaking Muslim. You can't be
even
anything else but
non-denominational.
the Christian. A Christo-fat, just like with George Orwell, 1984. Look it up. Read the book. Read the book.
And you wanted to add on something to that before I continue to read this, Omega?
They already did. They're already creating versions, altering scriptures in order to suit their whole agenda.
Many times over.
Exactly.
I mean, they're already selling. I know this. I know I'm being facetious about this, but you know, Trump has his own Bibles out already. But I imagine once Project 25 comes in, I mean, we're gonna see the real Bible, real Trump Bible, which is the slave Bible that was handed to black people years ago. As slaves.
Exactly. Because they already reference in Project 25 Jim Crow, and they want to implement that back.
And
Damn.
I forgot what they already said what they're going to implement in schools as far as like
DeSantis, I'm so sorry to cut you off, Omega. DeSantis already started to do that with PragerU. DeSantis got rid of Black history from schools in Florida, and he got rid of, sex education.
Yeah.
So you can't learn about those two.
Well, homosexuality, sexual education.
Yeah, homosexuality, which is a big homosexuality. In case you guys don't know, that has been going on since the 70s. Okay, they've been teaching homosexuality since the 70s in schools. Okay, that's how long it's been. So for the Republicans that want to ban it, you're a little bit late to the party.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I'm telling you right now, well, I feel like I'm going off a topic on this, but
no, go, Rand, speak your mind.
So I'm going to continue reading this.
Yeah,
this
go
would
ahead and read it, man,
this would ensure that what remains of this slashed out bureaucracy.
This is Trump's. I'm so sorry, Farrell. This is Trump's plan for his election. Because right now, currently in June 11th, 2024, Trump and Biden are tied in elections. So all this needs to be implemented is for Trump to be in office. Once he's in office, he's immediately going to shut down Congress, the executive branch. So that way, the executive branch can't get rid of him. We can't vote for him to get out of office. Okay, we can't veto him out. So we have to keep him like a permanent dictator.
Basically, some British monarch shit where
exactly
the king has the ultimate rule. And I don't
But
know,
it's not.
But so
But
that
it's,
wonder, like, I mean, look at Trump's age. I mean, I just want to ask Trump. Okay, Trump, you're like almost 80 plus years old. And
He
you're not
got
the
his
most
son.
famous.
He got his youngest son.
Okay, never mind. Yeah, I'm thinking. Yeah, you're tripping. Damn. Fuck. So Eric, or which son? Hold on.
The
Which
young,
son?
the youngest one, the last one.
So okay. Damn. Well, he's got. What about Eric and Don? Because he. So I don't know.
Trump is already grooming that young one in order to make him his replacement. Notice how he looks just like Trump.
I, I feel like if they already had a replacement, it'd be Kyle Rittenhouse. But hey, whatever.
Nah, well, yeah. That's the yeah.
just to continue
Go
on.
ahead.
This would ensure that what remains of this slash down bureaucracy is reliably MAGA conservative, not just for that next president, but for a long time to come. And that the White House maintains total control of it. So this essentially means that even when you, Omega, said about one of you two, I don't know, said about that there will be extreme British monarchy, but it's not just that. This will also be full-on communist way how China is doing the CCP.
Exactly, and Russia.
Well, Russia could also be applied, but we're talking about the old
full-on
Soviet,
dictatorship, like North Korea too.
Yes, and North Korea as well. We shouldn't be ignoring that. Using these powers as a baseline, Project 2025 presents a Christian nationalist vision of the United States. This one is full of nonsense. One in which married heterosexuality is the only valid form of sexual expression and identity.
Pause. Chase, so you wonder why we have an entire month dedicated to Pride? That's the reason. That's the reason. Chase, you listening? That's the reason. That's the reason. You want to know why they oppose it? Pride ain't doing nothing to you. It ain't harming you. It ain't trying to take away your rights. You can still fuck bitches. It ain't trying to take away your rights to live. A flag ain't gonna do nothing to you. But bigotry
damn
would.
sure it's not going to indoctrinate your kids.
Oh, it's not going to indoctrinate your kids to know about it unless you yourself.
And if it's molesting kids, then I challenge you to find me one case where the transgender is actually molested a kid into a bathroom or at a drag.
I have 5,000 cases of pro-Trump people molesting children, and they were caught and they were put to prison. 5,000 on Twitter. 5,000.
Yeah, I'm in Washington State, the most liberal fucking state ever. I've seen a lot of flags out this year.
Catch it on fleek, girl. Catch it.
But at the same time, I mean, if you were the average gay, put it this way, man, like the average gay person, or even trans person does not think this much in depth into homosexuality or trans.
However, there are straight men that are into cross-dressing that will take advantage. And I talked with a friend about this, I asked because those YouTubers are they're vastly anti-gay. They're completely anti-gay, and they may say that I have nothing against gay people. The reason why they're complaining about it is that they want to demonize the community, and they want to be angry at that. Something like an entire month for Pride, that is not going to do anything. Why? You got to ask yourself, Chase, why are they complaining? Why is that even an issue? How is that invalidating your life? How is that infringing on your rights? How is that taking away something from you? You have to ask yourself that. That is very important. Because if you don't ask yourself, there's no cognitive thinking. You just believe in propaganda and hate, and this is what's happening. This is what the alt-right pipeline is all about. It's about propaganda and hate speech. Anything that's involving inclusivity is woke. They project. Look at the crime statistics. Look how much gay people are molesting kids. Very little. Very little.
And if you would have claimed that pedophiles have molested little boys as gay, that's a total
straight
difference.
Men, mostly.
Yes, there's a total difference. I was to break it down simply. One is consensual, and one is consensual, which is gay, man on man, and the other is not, which is pedophilia.
And when it comes to pedophilia is not about sexuality. Pedophilia is not a sexuality. Pedophilia is about power and an addiction. It is an addiction to children. It is an addiction. It is a lust for children. And it doesn't matter what the gender is. They will do it. But see, that's the whole point. That's what I'm talking to you about, Chase. It is very imperative because you got to understand why they're doing it. They're doing it because they want to get rid of it. They're projecting, they're having, who is this? Brian, I'm going to keep it real here. Please keep it on topic. This is a very serious topic, okay? And if you show any parts, I'm kicking you out. Like I'm dead ass. Okay? Okay. Getting back to you, Chase. This is very imperative. The reason why they're making a big deal, you have to understand they don't like them. When people show you who they are, believe them. In the words of Maya Angelou, they don't love you. They don't care. They don't care. They may say, oh, I got plenty of, gay, trans, lesbian friends. Just like how there's racist white people that say, oh, I got plenty of black friends. Doesn't mean I'm against black people. But yet they're voting against black interests. They're on Stormfront and Daily Stormer saying black people commit 70-something% of the crime. They're saying that. They're saying that. They're saying all of that, It's got to be imperative. Hey, Kevin, what's going on? They're saying all of that. You have to be well aware. Like this is what I really want you to understand. Because anytime you have an angst, okay, imagine let's say, for instance, you hear, I'm gonna give you an example. This is not true. This has never happened, right? I haven't heard this yet. But let's say, for instance, Daniel Rolfe, I hate to bring him up. Let's say he goes on social media and complain about why black people have Omega just left. Why black people have a Black History Month for February. He never said this, but I'm just gonna confirm. He never said this. I'm just using it as an example. Let's say he would have said that. Why do you think he'll be bothered by that? Why do you think he'll be upset about that? Because he has already a bias and angst and vendetta against black people if he were to say that. Right? That would be the honest truth. You don't have a problem with it if it doesn't bother you. You wouldn't complain about it if you were not affected by it. You wouldn't complain about it if you weren't bothered by them by default. Even if you have friends who are part of the community, it wouldn't matter because by default you see them as less than. Those are the same people that will complain and say, why do these niggers have a Black History Month? They will say something like that. It's just like with June. Why do these faggots, why do these trannies, why do these dykes have this month when they can just be themselves? They can get married after all, right? The same thing. They'll say the same exact thing. They'll say the same thing. And they said it so many times, dude. I can show you a list of screenshots of what these mofos have been saying. They will say it and they will make sure that it is true. They will make sure that they will say it and they will use quote unquote wordplay to play with your intelligence, to be neutral, but they're not really being neutral. They're telling you how they feel, but they're telling it in a politically correct way. They don't give a fuck about these people. They want them gone. That's why they have a big problem with the month. It's the same exact equivalence. So if you don't know, dude, now you know.
Going to continue on with this, using these powers.
No, girl, listen, let me tell you something. I've seen it all. I've been through it all. And I've experienced it all. And I'm very, very much deeply invested into this. Emotionally, mentally, and physically. And I will not let this happen. Ever. Ever. Then that's his problem. Then he needs to question, why are people leaving Christianity? He needs to question that. That's his issue. It's not the gay people issue. It is the Christian issue. If people are leaving Christianity, then how the hell are you going to blame it on gays? That's a form of jealousy. You got to be careful with this, Chase, because it's very, listen, let me tell you something. This is how these alt-right think tanks like Jordan Peterson, like Matt Walsh, who said it was okay to drink the period blood of 16-year-old girls and get them ripe, who said it was okay to marry children, but yet he want to call and say that the LGBT are groomers and stuff. He said that, but yet he wants to say it's okay to get a 16-year-old girl ripe. He has babies of himself that is part of an adult fetish that he has. He has a diaper fetish.
Ugh.
I'm putting out all the tea out of here. So anybody, I'm telling you, like, I'm not being nice anymore. Like, period. I'm being real. I'm keeping it all the way real.
To continue on with this, all pregnancies
Catch it.
will be carried to term, even if that requires coercion or death. And transgender and gender non-conforming people do not exist.
Okay, so you saw what they're doing with trans people. They're trying to say that trans is a mental illness, and that if you're trans, that you're not a real person, like you're just a person with a mental problem. That's what they said about gay people 40 years ago, back in the 1980s. As they used to say that they have a mental illness and they need to be sent to conversion therapy to be treated for their sexuality, despite homosexuality predating the Bible, despite homosexuality existing for millions of years in humanity's lifetime. Go ahead.
Continue on. Who is behind Project 2020?
That's what Matt Walsh did. All right, so let me scroll down. Okay,
Scroll
who is
down.
behind? Okay, there we go.
The project is mainly led by the aforementioned Heritage Foundation, led by Kevin D. Roberts and Paul Dance. The foundation is a think tank based on the principles of free enterprise, limited government, individual freedom, traditional American values, and a strong national defense, according to its website. The foundation has grown to become one of the most influential conservative groups in the country.
And these think tanks are the ones that we see: Matt Walsh, Joe Rogan, Jordan Peterson. Okay, who else? Ben Shapiro. All of these people have been promoting this. Then you get influencers like Sneeko. Who else?
Don't even get me started with Sneeko. Sneeko is
They promote this. They're part of it. They promote the same rhetoric. Keemstar say the same thing. Why? Because they're trying to influence the younger audience to adhere to these values of bigotry.
What the actual fuck?
It goes deep. The 1984 is real, buddy. Is real.
The same year that video game crash happened.
You said, wow, it's a mental illness. Like, the Project 20 GOP is a mental illness.
No,
That's what a mental illness.
No, that's not the video game crash that happened in 1984. It's 1983 video game crash.
Well, throw a few heterosexuals in there. Yeah, exactly. It takes two heterosexual people to make a homosexual, you know? As long as you're being okay with me being with your sis, okay, that's something else. You guys are going into a rant. Okay, continue.
Other people and groups involved with the project include like-minded right-wing think tanks and institutes, including individuals who once worked in the prior Trump administration. This includes Turning Point USA, a college-based nonprofit led by right-wing activist Charlie Kirk, as well as
who is a very ugly man, and I'm going to show you how he looks like.
Okay, as well as a conservative advocacy organization called the Center for Renewing America. You show the picture what you're about to show.
Okay, continue.
Former Trump staffers involved with Project 2025 include former White House chief of staff.
Pause. I'm gonna quote you here. No, Eric, homosexuality did not start in Rome. It started millions of years ago.
Was it the discussion that you had yesterday with Tricky Stream? Is it like
Yeah, but I didn't elaborate. I didn't elaborate fully because it was mostly a chill stream. No, it started way before. It started millions of years ago. It was before even biblical times. It predate biblical times. And it started from ancient human hominids who did this. And no one had a problem with it. It was until the Abrahamic faith came in fruition where this is where they started to have a problem with it. And the reason for this is because of patriarchy, because the Abrahamic faith puts machoism and male hierarchy standards in the dominant norm. And with Abrahamic faiths, anything that is viewed as femininity, which is basically engaging in a receiving end or essentially a bottom, you will be similar to a woman. And that is why males are discriminated when it comes to homosexuality and females are not. On a comparison basis, they're not equivalent because they can fetishize females. They can do the same things that they do to gay males. Like if they want to fuck a gay male in the ass, they'll do it to a woman. Why is it okay to fuck a woman in her ass but not a man? Why? Because of misogyny. Because if you take it in the ass, you're like a female. And they view females as less. So you see how homophobia and misogyny are connected? You see that? You see it? Is it making sense? Is it coming through? Are you seeing it? There you go.
You're trying to find a picture of who Charlie Kirk is.
Oh, I get it. Oh yeah, let me show you a picture of this ugly fucking big-headed balloon. Let me show you. Hold on.
There's a lot of big, ugly people around, but I'm not going to mention about them.
That's Charlie Kirk. Okay. And he really looks like that.
It looks like somebody else in disguise.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the person who these right wing follows. Him.
Yeah.
Get a good look at that.
God damn it.
Mm-hmm.
Let me continue reading.
Yeah, let me go to it. Let me get the article.
Because I know you was talking about age consent yesterday on Tricky Stream.
Yeah, and I talked about it earlier, and now I went over it. Already. So now, like, I passed through it. I was talking about it in the beginning, and now I'm actually like going in depth trying to talk about it.
No, that's not the right one.
I know. I'm just trying to see because it's not going through.
Over here, personally, I think it should be 20, the age consent, my personal opinion.
They don't want that. They don't want it to be 20. They want it to be 15. And I talked about that early. That is a real person, and that is the person who the right wing follows. That's why I call him Old Charlie Balloonhead, because that's what he is, a balloonhead mofo.
Trolls.
Yep.
Okay.
Omega, welcome back. You want to see Charlie Kirk again, Omega?
No, how big has his head gotten? Yeah. I had to cool my phone down in the freezer because it got hot for some reason.
Oh, probably because it was the intensity of the bandwidth. This is Charlie Kirk.
Oh, fuck. God damn.
I know. Yeah. God damn, indeed.
He looks like
God damn him.
He looks like a Lego figurine. Like, what the fuck?
It actually looks like somebody else that I know.
You know someone that looks like that?
Yeah, I do.
Jesus help us all.
I can't believe you were using.
Starts with a D.
I can't believe it, you Omega. You had to use the word "goddamn."
Yeah,
I mean, God had to damn him to look like that. I mean, damn. Is no wonder he has a lot of hatred in him. I mean, damn.
Self-hatred.
all that head space, but like small face, like it's gonna make my eyes cross again.
Like he has, it's like Mr. Potato Head, small face, big nose, big mouth, small eyes, misaligned eyes. You know, look
I
at his
bet you
eyes.
he
His
fits
eyes is
those.
not even shaped right.
I bet you he fits Mr. Potato Glasses perfectly. Like if you just put him on him, like the mustache,
Exactly, and with the
glasses, and
small
shit.
glasses,
Yeah.
just
Let's
yeah, just disgusting.
I mean,
let me continue reading it. You're gonna have to scroll down a little
Yes,
bit
yes,
further
yes,
where,
yes, yes,
where I
yes.
left off.
Okay, yeah. Let me go to the article.
but all the
Just
real
give me a
racists, but when
second.
you think about it, the racists always had like those weird ass, mongoloid faces like Charlie Kirk has. Like,
Oh,
Yeah, those inbreeded. Those are from inbreeding.
look at Tucker
Inbreeding.
Carlson and look at freaking this dude, the Tucker
Looks
Carlson.
like
Look
Jim Carrey fucked the Barbie doll. More like Jim Carrey fucked Mr. Potato Head. That's what happened.
Yeah, like dude, if you look at the white
Hold on a
supremacist
little bit.
statues in the South, like you'll even see it on their faces, like their expressions. Like I shit you not, like you'll probably see that expression on Charlie Kirk's face on a white supremacist statue. That's if any left that are in the South. I promise you.
Scroll
Over
down a
here
little bit.
talking, we could do anal. No, we can't. Both wrong, women and female. I feel bad because anal. Let me tell you something. Anal for men, it's a natural thing. It's a natural thing. The reason why gay people are being discriminated is because for a man to do it, it's considered to be unmanly, or it's misogyny. It's too feminine, and it's too much like women, and they see women as less. If they see women as equal, they wouldn't have a problem with it. But the fact that they see women as less, they are afraid. They are afraid to be treated the same way how they treat women. A lot of these homophobes, they're afraid that a man could treat them like how they treat women, and they don't want that, so they're scared. They're really fearful of that.
David discriminated against men who are taking family leave. You know, because like when a female when they get pregnant and they gotta take, I think it's called family leave or
Hmm.
but I remember a story where Fox News was denigrating a guy at their staff.
Hmm.
He took off for paternity leave. That's what it is. Yeah, maternity
Paternity
leave.
leave. Hmm.
They were denigrating him, and it's like, hold on. I thought you guys also said that you guys wanted fathers to be in the kids' lives, but like, what better
No,
way?
they don't care. They don't care. They don't care about the kids. It was never about the kids. The kids are an excuse. Anal's good on both men and women. It's both. So straight guys, you can try pegging. You're still gonna be straight. It doesn't matter.
Scroll down a little bit, so I will be able to
Okay.
read where I left off.
Project 25, Project 2025. Who is behind it?
I've already read those parts. You're gonna have to scroll down a little bit where I left off.
I think no. You got it. That was where
No,
you didn't
not
read-
all of them. Not all of them. Former Trump staffers involved with Project 2025
Oh, I'm gonna too. I'm gonna.
include former White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows and Trump's former senior
Exactly. Thank
advisor
you for coming.
Stephen Miller. The latter.
Anal unnatural. Well, see, that's okay. Sorry, Fire Lord. That is simply your opinion, and I respect that. I will not go against that opinion. But just because you feel that is unnatural doesn't mean that it's sodomy. It's sodomy to do it on a woman too. You know that, right? Like sodomy is not man on man. Sodomy is anal in general. So all the guys that have sex with their girls in their ass, you guys are sodomites too.
Yeah.
The
Welcome
latter.
to the Sinner Life. You're sinning. So I don't want to hear from any straight person trying to demonize any gay person about butt stuff when you guys do butt stuff all the time. But you eat ass, lick ass, fuck a woman in their ass. You're a sodomite just like any other queer gay person out there. It ain't no difference. Ass is ass. Doesn't matter if it's a man or a woman. It's ass. It's ass. Ass don't have a gender. It's ass.
The
You eat
latter.
ass. You love
The
ass.
latter.
You love butthole.
The latter.
You're a
of-
sodomite, just like everyone else who does it.
The latter of whom has been described as a white nationalist. What the fuck does racism has anything to do with this part? Like
Let me see. Read it again. I'm sorry.
the latter of whom has been described as a white nationalist.
Yeah, he is Mark Meadows. Yeah, yep.
No, Stephen Miller, not Mark Meadows.
White House
Stephen Miller,
Chief
too,
of Staff
definitely,
Mark
he is.
Meadows and Trump's former senior Stephen Miller. Both
Yes,
of
he
them have been
definitely
described
is.
as a white. I know Mark Meadows is a white nationalist.
He wrote up the whole border policy, Stephen Miller, as far as like
Hmm.
separating the parents from the kids, like literally take their kid,
Take their
take
kid
care of the
away
kid.
from them, yeah, and make the kid be foster home.
Yeah, something that also happened to black people too. But yeah, he's definitely that.
All right,
Yes,
Nova. Mark Meadows is a fucking racist, white supremacist, and so is Stephen Miller.
yeah,
What the
Stephen Miller's worse, but yeah, go yeah.
They
what the
both
fuck?
complement each other. Okay, let me scroll down.
What the fuck is this racist has anything to do with this goddamn thing? It's so
Oh,
fucking.
it's big, dude. Okay, all right. It is huge. It is purely based off of racism because
Fuck.
brown people are not allowed to enjoy this project.
Fuck me. No, no homo.
No
What
one's
have
even thinking
analysts,
that.
what have analysts said about Project 2025? Many progressives have opined that Project 2025 is an effort to turn the country into an autocracy with Trump and his MAGA movement at the top. The right is intent on turning Trumpism into a governing agenda. Robert L. Borsage said for The Nation, the Heritage Foundation is looking to recruit, train, and plant MAGA operatives throughout the government and arm them with clear marching orders.
Hey, different strokes, literally, for different folks.
Hmm.
Imagine that. You missed a lot. You missed a lot. Can you guys hear me, by the way?
Yes,
Yeah, I can hear you. I'm
Okay.
on the phone and I can hear you.
Okay. You missed a lot, but you can come back and get a recap.
yes. So why the fuck are they giving a clear marching orders at those folks within the United States for Project 2025?
Well, because they have to. Okay, so they got the MAGA movement. So they already got, remember I mentioned Marjorie Taylor Greene, Mike Johnson, Matt Gaetz, Jim Jordan, okay? George Santos, all right? They got the
And they already
people.
got a megaphone platform, social media platforms such as Fox News, Twitter,
It's
and a
Truth
little bit of
Social, Rumble, YouTube, Twitter, X, no longer
even
Twitter because it's called
CNN.
X.com. Elon
Even C,
sponsors right wing MAGA people on his homepage.
even CNN, because their new owner that just took over is a Trump supporter.
So now you're going to see propaganda of MAGA on CNN.
Yeah, that they demonize CNN is liberal and all that other shit.
It
Like,
ain't liberal anymore, buddy. Well, it was never liberal. It was always indifferent. What was liberal was NBC, ABC, anything that's Disney based is liberal.
I mean,
So,
but
yeah.
let's keep it real. What really made it liberal was Don Lemon's black gay ass. So there you go.
Yeah, and now he's gone.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
continuing. The
sorry.
pri-
Previously on Zelda by Wilketh.
the priority of Project 2025 is to bring the permanent bureaucracy to heel. Oh, for fuck's sake. Bureaucracy is a goddamn nightmare, and it's no bureaucratic nonsense. It should be anything near that. Like, get the fuck out of here.
I took it like a champ too, but I won't go there because people are going to think I'm grooming. So,
Why the fuck a bureaucracy? Look, I hate bureaucratic motherfuckers that they really want to have that, but to bring a permanent bureaucracy to heel is just asking for a death sentence. See what I mean by that?
yeah.
ZPP?
Yeah.
Why bring a bureaucracy a heel that asks for death sentence? Look, much as I hate having to rag on the bureaucratic motherfuckers that they're trying to push, especially in European countries,
You gotta. Yeah, we'll talk about that later.
Yeah. Yeah. We could go on and on with that when it comes to death sentences, especially with Trump. And, yeah.
the appointees in Trump's new government would be driven not by Reagan's sunny morning in America's conservatism, but by dark QAnon vision
Shit. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
of America betrayed. Why the fuck would you even add a dark QAnon vision on this part?
Because QAnon is responsible for this. QAnon is responsible for promoting MAGA ideals. Literally worshiping Trump like he's going to drain the swamp and he's going to, make America great again.
It's the dumbest. It just makes the QAnon movement makes the actual mega movement look a little bit smarter because QAnon is like way more conspiratorial and shit, and way more to that whole California is run by pedophiles and sex cabal and shit. Even though the leader of QAnon was arrested for having child pornography and shit. So, but
there you go. Every accusation is a confession.
Yeah, and and at the same time, okay, I'm gonna shut up. Go ahead.
Well, put on that strap on and use the pegging because that's what's going to need to happen. You better have some lube for that so you can use it on sloppy.
Look at Nova's comment.
Oh, yeah, I was going to ask this earlier. Remember when Wings of Redemption said that the age of consent should be 12? Yeah, okay, so that's what they want to do with the states. They want to decrease it to 15 and eventually 13. So 15 is what they're going for. Like with Kansas and Hawaii, the age of consent is 15. It's 15 to marry the youngest age, and then from there it's going to drop into 13. Yes, you're gonna get you gotta know how it feels. It's the only way you know how you work it. You gotta know what you're doing, and the best way to do it is to take it from firsthand experience.
Oh fucking hell!
Yeah.
However,
you will be saying that in hell too.
You tell up Slim, yeah, right, Slim? He's in the audience.
However, there remains an unknown whether Trump would have the discipline to impose
Girl,
this.
I'm naturally a deviant.
Nevertheless,
that's the face you're gonna be making when it happens.
Nevertheless,
for the first time.
Nevertheless, there is a greater likelihood that if he regains office, his next administration will be far more organized, relentless, and destructive than his first.
I'm sorry, are we watching a video or is the
No, it's an article. It's an article from Newsweek.
Oh,
yes.
Farler speak. Okay, but
about Project 2025. Yeah.
No, I'm saying, is Farler like is he speaking? Because I know he got that British voice too. I'm about to say he's got a good.
No, that's him. That's him speaking. Yeah.
Really? Oh shit! I thought it was. Yeah. I thought it was a part of the video. I'm on my phone. That's why I'm trying to.
Oh no, it's his native voice. He's literally reading.
Oh, dude, you have a great voice, man.
Reading. I'm literally reading it as I talk, Omega. That's the part of the reason why I'm reading this out.
Okay, my bad. I'm actually on the phone, so I can't see it. But I'm gonna say,
you gotta put Summer's Eve, and you gotta learn how to do shit out. Girls go through it, guys go through it. Who do it? So you gotta do.
Spank me later, Slim. Okay, Jesus Christ. Okay, I'm a millennial.
Omega knows what that means.
Okay.
Sorry, dude. Go ahead. But you have great voice. We had a great reading voice. You should be on Reading Rainbow.
At least I'm doing a
finally
better job.
For once, someone says someone else has.
At least I would have given credit for it, but I'm fine with not giving a credit by reading a full voice. Omega. No offense.
Okay, cool. Sorry. Cool.
Okay, Project 2025 is a dangerous political storm. They call set for the Oklahoman. The current discourse in the United States means that the government is susceptible to converting our democracy to an authoritarian dictatorship driven by politicians' personal conduct and their disregard for ethics and established laws. The project itself is less a transition and more like the radical conservatives' machination.
All said.
There you go.
And let me just quote this again. Dick Hall no pun intended, said for the Oklahoman, he says, the current discourse in the United States means that the government is susceptible to converting our democracy to an authoritarian dictatorship. So complete control, driven by politicians in power, personal conduct, and their disregard for ethics. So no moral ethics, just complete violation of other people's rights, complete control, complete mandate, complete violation of their freedom, of their liberty as Americans, and establish laws. And the project itself is a less transition, more like a radical conservative machination, Hall said.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
Trump, under 4 years, because that's all Trump has. Like, even I asked myself this
Oh,
question.
please, that's rape.
why-
That's different.
Yeah, even I thought to myself, okay, why would people advocate for a man this much just for only 4 years? Because that's all he can do. And this is the answer why. Like, I feel strong that he will do this. You know, like he really will do this. 4 years is just too long for him to not do this.
Well, he's gonna get rid of the Congress. So he's gonna get rid of Congress completely. They're gonna be completely gone. And what he's gonna do is dismantle that, so that way you can't impeach Trump and veto him out.
And exonerate
Yeah.
him from all of his crimes he's already been convicted of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And his crimes will be overridden because he will be in a position of power. You can't vote him out. And that means like he's going to be there to implement that policy, which means he can change the entire voting presidential demographic to now where it's no longer 4 years term. Now he can just be there for a lifetime if he wanted that.
Much like Xi Jinping's president for life.
Mm-hmm.
And
In
X
China.
out all Democrats that are remaining in power, like all the congresswomen, all the senators, even some mayors, even governors. I mean, it goes on and on and on.
Did it not
Yeah.
occur to you folks? Did it not occur to you folks? But the CCP were the ones infiltrated the United States just to have Trump to be in power.
Well, they infiltrated it because they wanted to ensure that Trump remains in power as the figurehead. So what happens is that the Congress is the one who's currently in support of Trump. Majority of them, like Mike Johnson, Marjorie Taylor Greene, Clarence Thomas, the House, the tap dancer, the House Uncle Tom. You know, he's literally empowered to make sure that Trump remains in the position of election. And that's why other Republican politicians like Nikki Haley, Ron DeSantis, Jimmy Neutron, Swami, they all lost the election in terms of the candidates. And that's why it goes right back to Trump, because they wanted to ensure that no Republican but Trump is going to be running for office against Biden.
As expected.
They all sold their soul basically for Trump, and Trump is like their leader and their savior. And what's happening is that people's rights are being violated and it's being taken away, and this is what's going to happen. This is why I wanted to do this stream, because it's imperative you guys should know about this. They're trying to take everything away. They're trying to take everything. Traditional family values is not what they mean when they say it. I'm letting you know this. Have you seen a traditional family value hillbilly home? It is nothing of traditionalism as what you may think. We're not talking about Leave It to Beaver. We're talking about women are no longer allowed to have positions of authority.
And
Once
the funny
they
thing,
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Funny thing about it is, like, it all came from like a figment of their imagination, like, because they always post up the meme of like that white lady in the kitchen smiling.
Yeah, Leave It to Beaver. 19 Stepford Wives kind of kind of lifestyle. That's what they want. They want that, the good old days where women were in the kitchen making sandwiches and
even though that's not even
not doing anything
realistic though.
else.
Which is not even really realistic at this point. Like,
Any girl under 18 or still in school should definitely not be dating people. It's not about the girls, it's about the people who date. And it's not just girls, it's little boys too. We're talking about boy and girl under 18 being in a relationship with people in their 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s. The age of consent in Texas is 16.
Yeah. Oh,
They want to drop it to 15.
Right. To respond to Slim, she says she might be in the house baking pies. I just want to ask you this
Oh, well,
question.
that's different. That's
No. I
different.
want to ask you this
Yeah.
question then. Would you mind beat me in the house baking pies against a nigga that's making minimum against like how do I'm gonna say this nicely, but a nigga that's working at Wendy's being a chef? Or,
Oh God damn it!
no
Basically
offense to
making
Wendy's
low
workers.
income wage, minimum wage, below minimum wage, and not providing enough money in the household.
Yeah, basically you're gonna be making pie. They want you to be making pies for that nigga that ain't making shit.
The
Now
same thing.
I understand where that come from. She might. I mean, at best, if you want to be if a woman wants to be a baking pies for Dwayne the Rock Johnson or something who has millions of dollars, that's different. But like we're talking about baking pies for just shitty for niggas that ain't making shit.
Or
Well,
people who are not even working and they just, you're the one who's like getting most of the pay. And like you're gonna be like literally be a slave to a man because the law says it's so you're supposed to be like that,
Yeah.
That's part of the LGBT spectrum, and thus that is automatically gone. True, what's happening, what's going on?
Hey,
Welcome
true
to
or
the
not?
stream.
now to continue on with reading this.
But see, oh, sorry, Firelord. I was gonna say this. Your choice in cooking is completely different from what they want. See, you choose to cook for people because you love to cook. You love to make things for people. You enjoy pleasing the people who you want to cook for. However, what needs to happen is that they want to implement this narrative that because if you are a woman, your duty is in the kitchen only, and maybe the bedroom, but you have no say in authority. You have no say in jobs, work, sloppy, you're going to hell. You have no say in that. Well, that's what they want. Make me a sandwich. That's what they want. They want this idea where women are essentially housewives for the rest of their lives, and they groom them while they're young. So we're talking about 15. We're not talking about grown women. They groom them while they're young because then they're socially conditioned. They're socially conditioned to do that. They're socially conditioned to cook for or to please their husbands from a very young age. That's why they want them young. That's why they want it from 15 years old.
I need to continue reading this.
Sorry about that. Go right ahead.
What has
Hey,
Trump
well,
said-
that's, and so sorry, Philo. See, right there, he advertised for that. He's proud to be that. He came on stream and on Twitter saying he wants to date minors. So, and mind you, he's the same people that say gay people are groomers. So, who's really the groomer?
Now,
You
what
have to
has
be a
Trump
retard to
said-
not see that.
What has Trump said about Project 2025? The project president has made little mention of the project by name. However, as New York Magazine said, many of Trump's indicated plans for a second term fall in line with the Project 2025 outline. This includes giving the president unchecked power over federal agencies and a total ability to bypass Congress. So this is what you meant by that. He can completely override the Congress, and the Congress has no power over presidents.
Yep, they will have no power over the president. So if Donald Trump says, "Hey, I want this rule to be implemented," he doesn't have to go to Congress anymore to implement it. Now he can just do it directly.
Without any Congress constituents.
Yep.
For that
No
matter.
Congress consent whatsoever.
Constituents.
Consent.
No, constituents. Consent is different.
It's consent because they have to approve on it. So it's consent.
Never mind. He has.
I know what
also
you mean
pledged-
by constituents, but it's also consent because he can't just do what he wants to without Congress approving on it.
He has also pledged to appoint a special prosecutor to go after the Biden family and other political opponents, as well as the installation of loyalists throughout the government. The Heritage Foundation maintains that Project 2025 is candidate agnostic. I'll have to look at that in a little bit, meaning its thousands of applicants could serve in any Republican administration, New York Magazine said. In a statement to the outlet, the foundation said it was proud to welcome conservatives of all different backgrounds and experiences.
There you go.
And that's the end of that. Now, candidate agnostic, I do not understand what are they trying to imply by candidate agnostic.
So the vast majority of Americans don't really have a set faith. They just believe in whatever superstition that follows their way, whether they're theistic or atheistic. But in this case, it's more like theistic but don't have a religion. So when they say candidate agnostic, they mean by someone who really doesn't have a set religion but still believes in some mystical being to help them. And that's what they mean, you know? That's what they mean.
I'm not sure I'm getting everything correctly.
So
even
when they
I-
say candidate agnostic, so the candidates that apply for the Republican Party are pseudo-Christians. They are people who they're agnostic. They don't have a faith, but they have a belief in a deity, and they use their they use their worldview as a way for them to navigate their own morals, their own sets of belief systems, and they use that as their forefront. And they will welcome anybody to who's like that. They don't care what your belief is. They don't care if you are Muslim. They don't care if you are a Jew. They don't care if you are atheist. As long as you believe in what as long as you follow Republican GOP values, this is exactly what they want. This is a promotional message. If you're a pedophile, we will hide in what you did, just like what we did with Junko. You know what? You can go fuck yourself, because at least I don't consent to age laws of 16 and 17 and think it's okay. Now catch that one on that motherfucking fleek.
So, everything that's been read, you actually read it initially, but I also took over for that to read everything out loud.
I did.
Read everything for that. But everything I see, everything that I read, it makes me question: is European going to go through the same goddamn thing as the American government is going through? I mean, it's already seemed like it's already going to happen in European countries, no matter what.
Yeah, it's going worldwide. It's going worldwide. Europe is a big influence. The UK especially is one of the biggest influence out there because they want to essentially control the narrative.
But it's not just that, CGB. This also applies a mixture of a British monarchy, absolute monarchy.
Yeah, absolutely. Because the UK is heavily involved. It's heavily involved.
CCP, the communism in and of itself, North Korea, and Russia in and of itself.
Yeah, it's also a Eurasian influence too, as well.
This is a very disturbing dystopia that the Americans, as I know, even the ones who I communicated with, are going to be unable to sustain themselves for the majority of the time, because they're going to have to take a look at the social medias of what you have been doing, everything. And that is just asking for a lot more trouble, similar to how the British government, in some cases, the British government does that, but also for the majority of the time, CCP does that to check out on your social media.
Yeah, they have complete control. Politics has become the center stone of America, of social media, of the world, and it is, it's Yeah.
I would say just our politics, but like not.
But we dominate. Our politics is the definitive. Our what happens in America will apply to all countries around the world. We are the center stone of this world. We create the change worldwide, and the world values our opinion as the definitive. And if we decide to implement a change, we can influence other countries to follow.
Right, that's a
No,
recipe for disaster waiting
But that
to
has
happen.
always been the case. That has been part of history.
well, if that's the case, then why is it that like okay, I mean, think about it like this:
Exactly true.
like
Exactly.
countries around the world. I mean, right wingers around the world think like right wingers in America are just batshit crazy. They don't believe in healthcare. They don't believe in free college.
They don't want free health care. They don't want free. Oh, and care about. Oh, think of the
And
children. The
they
children.
don't believe
They
in
don't even want children to have free lunch.
Yeah, they don't.
They wanna
believe in
ban
shit.
that.
Like a lot of right wingers, like majority of right wingers worldwide think like right wingers in America are just batshit crazy. So if Trump were to take over, like, and this will also go to like another dark prediction I have. But like, if Trump
Hmm.
were to take over, like, not only will I feel like there will be like a civil war esque type of moment, but let's say they were to win the civil war moment, like they will lose against the rest of the world because the rest of the world doesn't want to deal with their bass backwards.
Well,
bigots,
once they
fuckery shit.
realize that, but it could be too late because once they put Trump in office, that's it. They'll regret it. They'll regret everything.
True, but
Unfortunately, yes, and they will.
They don't want that. That's again, free
but
health
think about-
care
but
for
what I'm saying-
children.
but-
You care about kids. You care about kids' safety and health in terms of lunch and medical assistance. Oh, you too woke. You're woke.
Okay.
You're woke. That's what they're going to say. They consider that to be woke because it's too inclusive and caring. You know?
Yeah, but I'm thinking
That's
about the rest
how
of the
they see it.
world-wise. I'm thinking about like the rest of the world-wise. Like once they get wind of what another Trump presidency is really like the rest
He
of
has
the
a
world's
small
gonna be,
dick, according to Stormy Daniels. It was a mushroom size, but
Yeah.
yeah, he is a dick.
yeah. Like the rest of the world will get wind of like what Trump is doing in America, and then the rest
We'll
of the
get into
world
that, sexy.
because and the rest of the world will get wind of Trump's regime. You know, and they're gonna be like, okay, America is no longer the it factor no more. So I'm pretty sure if Trump's America
Mhm.
versus the rest of the world, you will definitely lose.
You will
know?
lose all, like you will lose health coverage for Americans. You will lose every last one of that. Like you're
I
not
don't
gonna
know.
have any health. Like he's trying to make sure that the healthcare, like we have Health First and all these other stuff, we're gonna lose all of that. We're gonna lose all of those medical insurance.
Yeah.
Because woke is inclusive. So getting back to it, Sexy, you mentioned how is that wokeism? They don't really care about children. They just care about creating a narrative that creates a divide. But they don't really care, and that's why they're banning healthcare. They're banning food from schools, free food, and require that you have to pay for it because they want to ban that. They want to deprive students of food and necessities, even educational, like books, which is part of the government care that's coming out of tax-paying money to help them provide education. They want to remove that, replace it, and teach the Bible in schools, and get rid of the globe in schools. They want to teach flat Earth. That's another thing they want to do. Get rid of the geometric form of thinking in terms of looking at the world. They want to get rid of that.
To actually clarify this, this is what is called. People do not seem to know this. It has
Because
he has what is
I'm
called
sorry, I'm so
presidential immunity.
sorry, Fred. Let me just answer. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Now you know how important it motherfucking is, Chase. Now you know. Now you know.
But you're
He's
forgetting
guilty, and they still see him like a savior. If that's not ringing a bell, then knock your head on a metal plate, because this is what you need to realize. This is the reality. They don't give a fuck if he's a pedophile. They don't care if he had sex with 13-year-old, 12-year-old girls and boys. They don't care about that. They just care about the fact that he's going to make America great again. And that's all they care about. They don't care if he slept with Stormy Daniels. They don't care if he raped tons of people. They don't care about that. What matters, they don't care if he was in Epstein Island 7 times. What matters is they care about making America great again. And that is what they don't care about the trial. They don't care how many times he's been indicted, that the fact that he was proven to be guilty on all 34 counts. They don't care. It's about Trump being in office. That's it.
You're forgetting something. You're forgetting one key.
Exactly, Chase. So much money. That shows you how messed up the world is.
But ZDB, you're forgetting one crucial word that you should have said. It's called presidential immunity.
Exactly. Exacto mundo, por favor. Presidential immunity.
Presidential immunity.
And they
That's
want to
what it's
ban
called.
it. They want to implement that and use that as a way to control Trump's crimes.
Think about it like this: they want to.
This makes me sick to my stomach. But go ahead.
Yeah, they want to prosecute the Bidens and all this other stuff, right? While implementing presidential immunity for Trump. So why wasn't Biden doesn't get presidential immunity? Think of it like
because Biden is a liberal wokeist, and they don't like woke. They don't like diversity. They don't like inclusivity. They don't like anything that has to do with Democrats, wokeness. Democrats, if you're a Democrat,
right.
you're considered woke, right? Because if you're a Democrat, you're liberal.
I know that answer, but I'm just saying, like, Chase should really ask him themselves that shit, right? Like ask yourself, ask yourself, Chase, like the MAGA party wants to be like, oh, well, prosecute Biden and Biden family or whatever for all of their crimes or whatever, while they are advocating for presidential immunity for Trump, who is not president. Like, what sense does that make? So, like, how can you advocate for presidential immunity for an ex-president, but you can't advocate for presidential immunity for an actual president? Because listen,
they're biased by default. You think they care about free speech? You think they give a fuck about free speech? When they talk about free speech, they talk about hate speech. Whenever they talk about free speech, if they truly cared about free speech, they would not be goddamn banning books from schools. If they truly care about free speech, they would not be banning Black history from literary places like the library and academic college institutions. They would not be doing that in Florida. They would not be doing that. If they truly care about free speech, they would not be violating pride flags and getting rid of them. If they truly care about free speech, they would not be censoring people. But they don't care about free speech. I could really give a shit.
To be absolutely and utterly fair with you, ZDB, and everyone else, this presidential
in Florida,
immunity,
in Florida.
Yes.
This presidential immunity people are talking about, you're talking about now. This only occurs in the United States, although you could say this also applies in the CCP and to some extent North Korea. I don't know about Russia, because Russia is a little bit more different. So you cannot so they do not believe presidential immunity exists, although that's a bit debatable. It's a bit debatable on that part, but
Putin's going to get your ass
the
for that.
idea.
No, I'm playing. I'm just fucking with you, man. Go ahead.
No, it's all right. The point is, presidential immunity grants us a particular individual, for someone like Trump, to be granted for that, even though he was already charged with a crime, that he legally cannot be prosecuted, even if he already was, even if he should have been. And that only means that it doesn't really matter which one of it. And I hate to sound like I'm giving a bad news to everyone else, even to the
I never had ever had given Junko consent, period. Ever. So don't you ever say or try to twist things or try to make it seem like I already debunked that months ago. Don't go there, Mr. I want to have sex with 16 and 17-year-old girls and think it's okay, which you did say, and you really have the thumb. I literally have the screenshot of you going to Adam's channel saying that you think it's okay to have sex with a 17 because it's legal. It's legal. Try again, buddy. Try again. Try
If you
again,
think,
buddy.
oh, is he talking about Biden? I went to get a beer. Sorry.
Nova the
President
Musty.
Biden.
That's how stupid you are. That's not Junko, idiot, dummy. Go ahead.
The fact of the matter is, this presidential immunity only grants a certain and select president who used to be president. And I figured this might be a bit different because even though Joe Biden is not would not be granted with the presidential immunity, Trump certainly will, because I think this has to do with the terms that he got, because the maximum amount of terms you will be able to run as a president will be on 2 terms. Look at what happened with the don't even get me started on that. Barack Obama, yes. He served for 2 terms. He was the president for 8 goddamn years. For 8 goddamn years.
Because he was in a liberal power. It was a liberal power, and what happened was that he was voted legally to go for a second term.
Yes, and after that, after the second term, you could not be eligible to be granted as a.
Let me just say, can I quote this? Adam was 18 years old. Well, I wasn't talking about Adam. I already established that Adam said he was 18 years old. I'm talking about you, who said it was okay to have sex with a 17-year-old. I'm talking about you, who said whether you like it or not and whether you agree with it or not, that's the age of consent. Actually, I confirmed that the age of consent is 16 since 2021. So the age of consent is not 17, it's 16. And even if it's 17, it's still underage. And you agreed to it. I'm talking to you, Chayton, under that troll account.
No amount of nonsense, ZB. Well, at least from my understanding. This presidential immunity that Trump has been granted for, this only works if he served for a first term, which actually kind of works, believe it or not, even though he should have been in jail.
Promotion, sexy.
Even though he should have been gone to jail, but he didn't, because this only goes to show that.
Thank you. Like, you're starting some shit. Like if you got nothing, if you want to come in and start your shit, come on the freaking panel and try to come and start some shit. Like, come on, like.
This practically means that he's immune to any kind of laws. Well, actually, he's immune to any laws. He's immune to any crimes that he committed. This just lets him get away with that, even as a presidential immunity. But once the second term ends, he would not be eligible to be granted for presidential immunity, because he already served this term. Although, even if that term would have had to happen, again, whatever happens with the Project 2025, dude, we just
he'll just create. There's a troll account. He'll just create another one. If he comes with another account, then just don't ban it.
It just only shows ZTB that even if he gets a full-on presidential immunity, even after second term, no one can vote him out. You are right on that.
Well, listen, let me tell you something. Whatever goes through terms, it goes through Congress. So the terms of election goes through Congress and the president, and it goes through that because it goes through the process of voting for that person, and that person has to get into office. So that's what they'll do. That's how the Congress works. Once Project 2025 comes into fruition, they're going to instantly get rid of Congress. And when they get rid of Congress, they get rid of people who are part of Congress. And the entire form of the executive branch is completely decimated. So the president has the full, complete control. The full, complete control. That means it doesn't have to go through Congress.
Unfortunately, I'll say it. It's all right, Omega. But there's also other immunity when it comes to political immunity. You have diplomatic immunity, although that kind of doesn't apply in its own self-serve country like the United States, because they don't have a diplomatic immunity. They don't have that. But any other countries, they do. If they actually work as a diplomatic individual, other than working in the United States, say for like Germany, United Kingdom, they do have diplomatic immunity. However, in China, that doesn't seem to be the case.
No, it's full dictatorship.
Yes, it's a full of dictatorship. Let's just put it like that. So by that, and even then, this is something else I should have added to this. So when it comes to all the political stuff, even if you do have a presidential immunity, just in the United States alone, There will be countries that there will be called what's called persona non grata. You know what that a term persona non grata is?
No, explain, elaborate.
Persona non grata. I'll explain this to you. A person that is not welcomed to the particular country, who, despite the good deeds of what Trump has been doing, he will be called, and this is some people, even some of the diplomatic people, and even presidents or even prime ministers of any countries, like again Germany
Oh, he can
or
he can
UK.
he can fully join. He can fully join the panel. Actually, you know what? As a matter of fact, since I know that's Chayton, hold on. I'm gonna do you one favor, since I can do this. I'm gonna unhide the user and see if he has the gully to come in the stream. So I just unbanned him just to see if he's gonna come in the stream, see if he's a man of his word and start.
The persona non grata, as I'm trying to explain to you, persona non grata, it could work in a for any particular reasons. Persona non grata, this is strictly we're talking about the political stuff, the diplomatic one. Foreign diplomat who is asked by the host of a country to be recalled to their home country. If it's not recalled as requested, then the state may refuse to recognize the person concerned as a member of a diplomatic mission, including the removal of diplomatic community. That actually kind of happened to that. But in any other usage, other than just political stuff, it can be declared persona non grata by a country other than diplomats, non-diplomatic usage. Referring to that, again, persona non grata is you person not welcome.
So you're not welcome into the party. Yeah.
Yes, that's
thanks,
precisely
Sexy.
what I'm going with that. That is precisely what I'm trying to tell you, that CDP. So even if Trump were supposed to visit diplomatic missions on a particular country, just because of the fact that he has a presidential immunity, he cannot be would you say vetoed, whatever.
Person not welcome. Person not invited to.
Persona non grata. That's it. That's precisely
That's
what I
my
mean.
girl.
By
That's
that.
my hype girl. Cherry's also
So-
my hype girl too,
So to put it
Okay,
simply,
that was-
ZDB.
and also Lauren.
So to put it simply, ZDB, even if Trump decided to go other different countries that he's supposed to do a diplomatic mission, and not just a diplomatic mission, any other that is other than diplomatic mission, he'll also be called a persona non grata because he's not welcome, because he's gone full on dictator.
Hmm.
This particular matter, in any heinous crimes that he committed.
Hmm.
So what this would mean that even if he does have presidential immunity, he's not completely immune to anything at all. Regardless of the fact that, regardless if he's fully immune even with the presidential immunity, he still would be legally liable to some of the things that he could have committed. But because of the condition he's in, even with his old age,
In other countries, yes, but not in America.
well, you could definitely say that.
Yeah, because other countries have their own people in power. They have their own politicians. But in America, at least, he has full control. If Project 2025 becomes that in January, then he has full control over the 50 states here, which
that's
is
unfortunate.
what I'm referring to. I'm referring to what's happening in America. And again, the world revolves around America. So what the president does in America can be influenced to other countries. So if he wants this white ethno state where things are exactly the way he does in traditional family values, then guess what? Other countries are gonna try it. They're gonna do it, and they're gonna replicate it.
I mean, to add more to that point, to touch more on my point earlier, I mean, you also got to take into consideration that Trump is also advocating for a national divorce as far as like pulling out of NATO, which is
Exactly,
big
NATO. Yep.
for our allies, and basically like separate us from the rest of the world to become our own country, so that Trump can actually implement his own regime. And that's when I feel like, let's say,
His own dictatorship.
yeah, let's say if Trump were to win, assuming he wins, and he gets his own dictatorship, the rest of the world is going to get fed up with their shit as far as like, okay, America is a failed experiment. Fuck America. Let's just bomb their asses and have one. And that probably at best will probably be taken over by another country. Like, I don't know, maybe
And
Russia, China, Canada. Like maybe they'll maybe like, okay,
don't even go into the Canada, Omega. Don't even go to Canada. I hear a lot of crap that's been going on with Canada because nobody wants to live in Canada because over there in Canada, and even I have a video that I sent it to ZDB. Hey, to you, ZDB, because Canada is a goddamn nightmare because no one is able
Really?
to make a lot of ways. No, I'm not even kidding you. I'm not even
I
kidding
don't
you,
think
ZDB.
so.
You should definitely.
I would say this is more from the Vancouver Canadians, and like, and I've experienced some of.
I know there's a huge influx of like MAGA influence in Canada because
Yeah, that's
what
more for, like,
happened
the
is that there's a lot of white
Vancouver
nationalists
side,
coming
like
out.
they're starting to adapt to that Nazism, but that's the rebel against like Trudeau, who's like
Oh no!
more.
Oh no! No, that's not. It's not even just about that, Omega. I need. What I should be saying that is that it has something to do how bad the economy is over there in Canada and how bad their currency is. And and a lot of times people cannot afford the houses because the house is too goddamn expensive. You cannot even rent a goddamn house. That's going to be even more impossible to either own or rent a goddamn house or rent a apartment. And that's just flat out bad. As a matter of fact, Omega, if you want me to send a video to you, I will be more than happy to send that to you because what you're going to see you're going to see this for yourself, Omega. It's really fucked up, extremely.
But how does that compare
fucked
to
up
what's
that you
happening
would
in
not
America
even-
currently? Like how-
Because I feel like the same. I feel like Canada's taking the same type of smoke propaganda that California is, because California is run mostly by liberals. That's where I feel like that's where that stigma stereotype comes from. But that's
Yeah, it's a
I'll say.
huge right wing influx in Canada. It's happening
I
slowly
mean,
in increments, but it's going.
I don't know if it's. I wouldn't say it's going like that, but I would say
It's
like the
going.
Vancouver,
I've seen it.
I would say the Vancouver area definitely, yeah, but like that's a small portion of Canada. But okay, I'm getting off topic, but whatever.
Well, no,
If
no,
there
no,
is
no,
a nuclear disaster and everyone becomes zombies, I'll keep that in mind.
to put it simply, is it be? This is really
Yes. I hopefully going to be streaming more. Yes, definitely. Welcome,
So to-
Josh.
So to put it simply, Omega and ZDB, the part of that reason of why I'm telling you this right now is that people cannot afford to buy a house because it asks for too much goddamn money because it's so goddamn expensive. And especially it come in terms of a goddamn project they're building off of. So a lot of people, and this is even worse. This is even worse. What I'm about to tell you, their healthcare system is so goddamn bad. Well, it's goddamn bad. I'm gonna put.
I believe what True's saying. The live and let.
Wait. But now that you say that, okay, what makes it bad?
If you do not have a medical insurance, as far as I'm understanding, I should have said that differently. But if you do not have a good medical insurance, then I don't know how do I say it. You're not eligible to be inspected, whatever that case may be.
But Canada has universal health care
For free.
But even that is not logical. Even if you were to believe that, people will tell
No,
you.
they literally do. They don't pay for health insurance. In fact, it doesn't even come out of their occupations and their jobs. It doesn't.
They don't have no co-pay or anything like that.
Tax
Like,
doesn't come out. Yeah.
You even get therapy help for free there. Like if you
Yeah,
see a
free
therapist, you
therapy,
get that.
yeah.
Which it's even
Can't get
more
that in the
egregious.
States, now can you?
And that is even more egregious than you could possibly imagine. Their health insurance is not goddamn good, and that is.
I want to address what True says. He says, as a libertarian man, I think people should do whatever they want now, as long as they are not harming people. Let live and live, not to mention violating people's own free will. Absolutely. What happened is this country, unfortunately, is voting for people's rights to be removed. That's talking about voting for changing the school's curriculum to suit their own means, banning items like as far as flags outside, banning women's reproductive rights, their rights to their bodily autonomy, banning history books from schools that are too graphic. So when they talk about the chattel slavery with the African slaves that came here and the Native American genocide, that's what PragerU is doing, is censoring and is trying to minimize and whitewash the history That is what's going on with PragerU. And
Yes,
that is
and
what's
they will
happening.
fail because I see one of their
And
cartoons.
Candace Owens is sponsoring that, so it's letting you know.
Actually, she got fired from Daily Wire, but and I didn't.
I heard about it too. I heard
Yeah.
about it. But she still sponsored PragerU. She still did. And
Okay,
it's
okay.
yeah.
Yeah, but PragerU cartoons, they will fail because their cartoons are shit. Like I damn, I should have. I was gonna do a review when I got back, but I mean,
Let me see this. Fire Lord sounds like he got a crush on ZTB. Okay, so that's not a crime. He seems to be in love with ZTB. Okay, you jealous? You mad? Fire, you can't even spell Free Lord. Free Lord. Free Lord loves children and child groomers. Just be in the stream. Yeah, but yet you are okay with the age of consent being 16 and 17 and having a grown-ass man have sex with a 17-year-old girl, which, from what I heard, you did have sex with a 17-year-old girl from someone who told
and
me.
one could easily slap on that label groomer to your ass too, because you got to ask, why would you want to have sex with a woman that age? So
Why
that
would
can
you be
manipulate
in
them.
since
And
okay,
you
here's
can-
my thing, so because I'm ready to go nigga mode right now.
None of
Yes,
that's
believe
really
this.
wrong, so
Catch this. You the same man that talk about wanna vilify and try to get at people and try to say, oh, but you had Junko on your stream 2 years ago and Junko was talking about this and I was listening to him, and you like to say someone is a groomer. Bitch, didn't I told you about Hiroshi Maru jerking off to child porn? And I told you that in a private fucking call, and you still befriended him afterwards when I told you about the lolicon business? We had a private call.
uh-oh.
Mm.
Oh no, he got cut out.
God damn it! Fuck. He was cooking too. Fuck. Stop
Now,
it.
on top of that, I'm here. Now, on top of that, then you only sided with, you join his Discord server, which is filled with child porn. Filled to the brim with child porn, like it's nothing but lolicon. And you went and you joined his Discord server just because you were angry at Cherry and Kevin tag teaming you when we had that private discussion on Discord, when I let you guys settle it out. And you're salty about that, and you're angry at me because you felt that I wasn't protecting you when Cherry and Kevin were getting at you, when I was letting you guys handle it and let you guys speak your mind. So you're resenting me for that, and you're taking it out for that, and you're using me as a catalyst because you have a psychological problem. And
Especially
you're
I don't know
filled
what
with
you're
hate.
doing, Jay, and so it won't really make any difference.
Dan told you already, focus on your own content. Focus on what was his channel? Hold My Beer.
Jay or fucking the house.
Dan
fucking
told you
Jay.
about that. You guys were doing politics. And now, come on, look at you, dude. This is pathetic. This is fucking pathetic. You're sad for doing this kind of shit. You lost every sort of coolness you once had, all to trade it off for some sorry ass petty shit that you are imitating that you did 3 years ago. Now that you got your friends, your old friends, everyone else, you're literally now you're resorting back to your old self, your old lying self,
Actually, he's always had a lying self.
and you're doing this shit. It's like
He's never changed.
it's come on, it's pathetic. It's pathetic.
I already knew he never changed.
It was yeah. It's his troll account. It's his troll account.
Yeah, he's got.
Yeah, don't ban it. Don't ban it. Because I have something to say. Because I'm tired. Like honestly, I'm tired of the bullshit. Like honestly, get a life. Work on your something. I'm done with you. We're no longer friends because you decided to come in and start a bullshit lie so you can get your payback because you were angry about what happened 3 years ago, and that is it. That is the reason why. And you hate me for it. You always detested me for it. And you were waiting for an opportunity to use this to get on my good side so that way you can strike me and get your payback. Well, you got your payback. And now it's done. I'm done. Move on. Get on with your life.
He won't move on. This is the thing with Jane. He
Done.
won't move on. Doesn't matter how many
Anyways,
times.
Firelord, continue. I'm so sorry.
To put it simply, it'd be, you cannot go to Canada even if you wanted to. From my understanding, the economy over there is bad. You do not.
I can visit Canada. I can visit Canada.
You can visit on Canada, yes, but you won't be permanently
Mhm.
staying in Canada because how bad the economy is over there. You do not have people do not have a good health insurance for this particular medical insurance for that matter, and people are forced to live in a trailer house, from my understanding.
Well, they're not forced to live in a trailer house.
No,
It's
you do
not the
not
laws
understand.
and implemented. Yeah.
You do not understand why am I telling you this, CDB? The fact of the matter is they cannot buy the house even if they wanted to because it's too goddamn expensive. You cannot rent a house. You cannot rent an apartment, and that's bullshit.
No, that's not what's happening. That's not what's happening.
If
If
you
that
don't
was the
even
case,
believe
that would
me,
be worldwide news. That's not what's happening in
if you don't
Canada
believe
right
me,
now.
check the video for yourself. Check
No,
the video for
I've
yourself that
literally
I sent.
listen. I saw the link that you post. There is an influx of poverty that's happening in Canada, but like they're trying to get them girls in Colombia. Yeah, that's what's happening. That's what's happening. So it's a huge influx of people, poverty happening. The economy's declining in Canada. What they have is inflation. They have a lot of inflation because the cost of goods are going up in Canada.
Not to mention the prices of the food and the
Inflation.
prices are within
Gas,
it is also
transportation.
inflation. That's even
Costs and
worse.
goods and services. It's inflation is going up, and
And-
the minimum wage requirements in Canada is not suitable. Just like with America, we have $15 an hour for minimum wage, but even that is not enough for a lot of people because 15 can't even support a studio apartment in some places. In New York City, definitely not. You need to have at least $20 or more per hour, and it's kind of sad. And then Biden is not doing anything for the economy. And that's another thing. So it's like you have to choose between the lesser of the two evils. It's like you have to choose between someone who wants to implement fascism or someone who wants to create a world where the economy is unstable. And you have to choose,
Unfortunately, the other part of that needs to be said for that, and unfortunately, I would not even recommend going into the Canada anymore because the dream of living in the Canadian dream, actually, that's what's been dubbed, is a goddamn nightmare. No one should go. No one should go and permanently stay in Canada, even if people wanted to.
Well, no, I disagree. I think
No,
ultimately no, because they have free healthcare. So that's something very important. A lot of in America we don't have free
good
healthcare.
health insurance. That's the biggest problem.
Hmm?
That they do not have a medical insurance. That's the biggest.
They do have
goddamn
medical
problem.
insurance.
They
You
do
can
not
go
have
to
a good
hospital.
medical insurance. You do not understand that.
Right, but they have insurance. It's better than having no insurance.
God damn it, head.
Hell yeah, because neither one is good. Neither, to be honest with you. But here's the thing: you're either going to vote for someone who is a complete dictator, or you're going to vote for someone who's an incompetent fool. That's your choice. Like that's honestly, it's like these two parties. It's like you can't like. It's hard. That's what I'm saying. Like when you vote, like you're not voting for someone who is going to make the country good. You're voting for essentially going against the Republican Party and not having the GOP have full control over the country. Like that's what you're doing. That's what you're doing.
To put it simply, CDB, if you do not have a medical insurance, then they're not gonna pay you for it. If you go to the hospital or whatever, they just won't do it.
No, Nova as in you. Nova as in you.
That is in terms of this CDB. If you do not have a medical insurance and you go to the hospital, they're not gonna pay you at all.
No, well, see, that's okay. So in America, that's how it is. In America, you don't go to a a hospital without insurance, they're not going to take you. Because if you don't have medical insurance, the doctors can't operate on you. The doctors can't treat you. So you have to have medical insurance. So it's imperative to have life insurance too, in case something happens to you and, your family needs to be compensated for your loss. So life insurance is also good. You can get life insurance and have everything settled for you, in case the worst happens and you need to turn in all your assets to either your wife, your husband, your kids, your mom, your dad, your sisters, your brothers, whomever. Life insurance is always good, and we have that in America. We have insurance policies that takes care of that. But if the GOP gets in power, all of that would be reduced to only the rich and wealthy and middle class.
And that is going to cause a further rift in it, and I don't think it'll even come back. Even if Canada does succeed, and especially in America, by the time Trump gets back as a president, no way would any of it.
You're funny. I have life insurance. Didn't tell my wife because she might kill me. Yeah, I mean,
just for the fact
that could be. I'm not laughing at that. Well, actually, I am. That's hilarious because I could see someone like George Carlin making a joke like that. That's funny.
At this point, ZDB, people and even a lot of the immigrants that have been complaining about living in Canada, and they don't think.
Welcome back, Omega.
Welcome back, Omega.
Yeah. What's up?
The fact of the matter is, ZTB, even a lot of the immigrants are from other countries. Doesn't matter if they're from China, Germany, France, whichever. They want to live in Canada, but they've actually lived how goddamn expenses over there in Canada, and it's just not worth it. They don't believe in Canada.
I mean, it's expensive in the United States too. Both North America in general is very expensive.
Well, no shit.
And yeah. I mean, yes, shit, because it's something that people. Why are people coming from different countries sacrificing their little means to come here, and they come to this country illegally and sacrifice everything just to make a means here? Because even though they know the odds are very slim, there is a 1% chance that they could have a life for their children. And that's why they do it. A lot of them are not even thinking of themselves. They're thinking of their family. They would like to start a family in America. They would like to start a family here so that their children can have a better life and not be introduced to heavy amounts of poverty, of drug cartels, of human trafficking. These are things that they sacrifice their time and their life with their kid. Mothers coming in with their child, crossing the borders that the GOP wants to get rid of, close it up, build a wall. And they're doing this because they want to have a better life for their kid, not for themselves, because they know they're already middle age. So about time they settle here, they'll be like in their 60s and 70s. But they do it for their kid so that their kid could have a future, a good future, growing up with the best education, the best resources, the best forms of hospitality. They want that for their kid. That's why they sacrifice. If you watch Border Patrol, you'll see so many of these immigrants. They come from places like in Guatemala, Mexico, Honduras, El Salvador, Panama. They come through these countries in Central America, and they get to the Texas border at what's the name of the border? At the World Trade Border. At and they go there and they cross that because they're trying to get. They're trying to cross the border so they can have a life.
Moon president.
I would vote for Moon as president as well.
Continue.
But they go across these borders and they go there because they want to have a future. They don't have a good future for their children in their country because they come from either a poor, isolated environment, or they come from an impoverished environment. And those factors is why they sacrifice their time, right?
Not to mention,
however, let me finish. Hold on, let me finish this. However, in the UK and in France, there's a huge influx of migrants. I will tolerate migrants coming in. What I will not tolerate is violence, domestic violence, and crime written by migrants, destroying property, terrorizing citizens that are living in those places, and you're here illegally. That I will not tolerate. And that's what's happening in France. France is turning into a shithole because of a lot of Arab immigrants that are coming in, and they're destroying the property. They're raping the French women. Okay, they're cleaning up the gay men. They're destroying the stores and the businesses. They're looting on the streets. They're shitting and pissing on the streets. They're leaving diapers on the streets, and the streets are covered in filth. France was once this beautiful country. Now it's like turning into the ghettos. Yeah, it's turning into and it's kind of sad when you see that, because would I vote for Super Hans as long as he support the policies I'm interested? You betcha. But that's what they'll do. That is,
I still don't know what else could I add on to that. The fact of the matter is, look, Sweden has officially decided to not allow any immigrants to come to Sweden anymore due to the political reasons that have happened in recent years. In fact, they just absolutely destroyed the Quran, for that matter, and they decide, you know what, we will not allow any immigrants coming into Sweden anymore because that's for political reasons.
Yeah, because the crime rate was increasing, and the amount of economical and physical damages and property and human damages, human life being endangered by the migrants and their
yes,
occupation in these countries.
I'm gonna leave you to it. I'll catch you later.
All right, Kev.
All right, Kev.
All right, Kevin. I suppose all I could say, in Sweden, they should have done this a lot sooner because of a lot of massive immigrants coming into Sweden, and they decided, no, fuck that shit. We would not allow any further immigrants, even the ones that are from Arabian countries or any Muslim countries.
Because a sitcom peep show, even a fictional character like that, I would still vote for it. It's better than what we have for these two choices here for this election.
Continue.
But when it comes down to immigration and migration in terms of these countries letting migrants in, being a migrant is a privilege.
Yes.
Having the country provide actual form of resources to you is a privilege.
Yes.
And you shouldn't take advantage of that. That's not something that you can just say because they're showing the kindness of their heart, that it means that you can just abuse that and just manipulate that and take advantage of that. It's not okay, because that's a privilege. They can kick your ass out. They can shoot you. They can blow your skull away, and they can kill your kid too, because that's what they do in places in Saudi Arabia. You try that shit in Saudi Arabia, in Afghanistan, and Iran, they will kill you and they will kill your kid right in front of you. Actually, no, they'll kill your kid in front of you so you can see it, and then they'll kill you.
Man, there was a story, if you looked at if you look in the true crime community, about a woman who just got her ass killed by a mob of Muslims she was just accused of ripping up the Quran. She was accused. Like, after they killed her, it was proven that she didn't even rip up the Quran. Some dude framed her and shit. But over in the Muslim countries,
and it shows you the radicalism that happens. If you destroy their religious equipment, they will go haywire. In America, we crack down on that. We don't play that shit. You're allowed to burn the Quran if you want to. You're allowed to burn the Bible if you want to. You're allowed to burn pride books if you want to. You're allowed to burn a pride flag, an American flag, whichever you want to burn, you can burn it. Just don't burn other people's property. But you can buy the property and burn it if you want to do that. If you want to go to Target, you can buy whatever you want to buy, burn it, record it, put it on social media, and say ha ha ha. You're still giving the store money anyway. So
yeah,
but
it is interesting too, because I feel like the slowly but surely, the right wing is co-opted to the Nation of Islam as well too, especially when it comes to child marriage.
Yeah, okay. So the right wing, the white nationalists, have a lot in common with the black nationalists, except for the race thing.
Yeah, but the problem is, it's like for many
Mhm.
years they have also denigrated the Quran or even people of the Nation of Islam. Like, look at Representative Ilhan Omar; she's a Muslim, and like they go after her
And Louis
heavily.
Farrakhan, yeah.
Yeah, but at the same time, now all of a sudden, and that was over. This was over just a few years ago, but now all of a sudden,
They
we
want to
got like
embrace those kind of traditions, yeah,
yeah,
because they
yeah,
realize
like
how much it benefits them. See, before they were trying to say these people, see how the power of bigotry, there is no logic behind it. It's all about control and power. It's all about control and power. All right, Nova, talk to you later as well. Welcome, welcome, and thank you for coming. Dynasty Warriors. Oh, catch it, don't flee. It's all about control and power. So if they can control the country's narrative and they can control the country's regime in terms of like narratives in politics and religion, they can use resources. For instance, if you didn't agree with the Islamic policies and you thought it was barbaric and you thought it was inhumane, and then now you realize, wait a minute, we can do the same shit to these people and we can hurt these people just like they do, and we can use our religion like Christianity to do it.
And I should
How
have
can they
said
even
that.
think of that? And
yeah. I mean,
that's
for
when
many
they're
years,
gonna do it. Yeah.
yeah, for many years I've been saying like I don't know why Islam and Christians don't like each other, but at least the far extremist sides of both things. Because I'm like, if you guys really sat down and really talk to each other, at least the extremist part of both religions, you guys would actually agree on a lot. But but now just I'm just to see it all to come to fruition. It's just like told you so. That's all I gotta say about that. But
It really is interesting. Oh shit! Oh damn it! I feel like it just ended up. I think it's his network.
Yeah,
There.
okay. Yeah, it depends. It depends. Free Palestine. Hashtag Free Palestine. I'm against them, what they're doing to women. I'm not like that, nor I was taught to be like this. Okay, well, it's kind of similar to what's happening in the United States. Remember when women's rights, when it came to wearing jeans, women couldn't even wear jeans. Women couldn't wear short skirts because it was considered to be unmodest, and they could be punished for it in America. Just in the 1940s and 30s, you couldn't dress like that. I mean, 1800s, sorry. You couldn't dress like that. It wasn't until the 1930s and 40s where slowly the feminist movement came in, and that's... Okay, true, you don't have to share that. That's private, okay? I don't want people to take advantage. This trolls coming in. I don't want them to use you as bait and make fun of you for it. Like, no, don't do that. I'm gonna get rid of that because I don't want people to take advantage of you like that. So
yeah,
To be perfectly
please don't ask
honest,
me about Israel and Palestine because I mean, look, I mean overall.
no, don't
I feel bad for the
apologize.
people.
True, I don't want other people to use that as like a forefront.
Yeah, overall, like Israel, Palestine, I just want to see justice come from the oppressors and like justice come from the people who have been oppressed, whether it be on both sides. Like, I mean, due to the fact of the intensity of the of politics,
Hmm.
like everything is. I feel like I got to say, yeah, I feel like that a lot of people can't have like legit conversations when it comes to discussing how to bring peace to the Middle East as far as Israel and Palestine
Hey,
because
Mr. Gozy, what's going on? Welcome, welcome. Long
so
time no speak.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And also, the war in Israel still going on. So, and it's
and
been a
even
big political. Even celebrities are getting heckled for not supporting Palestine and keeping silent. And it's because celebrities and a lot of politicians are endorsed by Zionist Jews, and the Zionist controls a lot of their finance,
and
a lot of their
especially
publicity.
I should have mentioned this as ZDB, but the prime minister of I believe he was a prime minister, Benny Gantz, actually
Hmm.
resigned his position because of the dire situation that's been going on, and because Benjamin
It's been a
Netanyahu,
one roller coaster for stream go. See, typical streams like this.
wasn't willing to listen to what Benny Gantz was going to say to hear him out. He decided to resign in his position because of that, and due to this insurmountable death of Palestine people within Gaza, It only goes to show.
I lied. I'm
Really,
not a fucking Allah.
Abdullah
Whatever.
Shalaka and Sans Swallower.
Okay, that's your prerogative.
But to
Won't
be
be here late night. Okay, no problem. Yeah, it's 2:16. I'm about to get off soon.
yes. So to put it simply, ZDB, I'm gonna have to finish this part of it since you're going to end the stream pretty soon.
Hmm.
Benny Gantz wasn't willing to he wasn't going to continue with this nonsense due to the fact how Benjamin Netanyahu was acting like. So he ended up deciding he had to resign his position for that. So because of that, there's still a lot of deaths going on within the Palestine and Gaza, and even the humanitarian aid was extremely limited to do what they're supposed to be doing. And this actually, I shouldn't be saying this, but even ICC, the International Criminal Court, is a goddamn joke.
Igor, what's going on? Welcome. What would the Republicans gain from reducing insurance benefits? Taxing the poor and taking advantage of the poor. But see, they don't realize that it's a double-edged sword. You know, the vast majority of Republicans receive welfare. They literally receive welfare and food stamps, more than blacks and more than Hispanics. So a lot of Southern white, a lot of people from the central of North America, of the South, they receive welfare, and they don't realize that this can affect them. But see, they don't have a high intelligence to realize that. So you're talking about them shooting themselves in their own feet. And that's when they're going to realize, oh, darn it, I should have never voted for Trump. Trump take away my rights, and he support the rich benefits, and I thought he was going to look after us, and he didn't even do that. So, yeah.
And that's all I would definitely have to say. The current situation of Benny Gantz resigning his position as a prime minister, because from my understanding, Netanyahu told that he was standing in the way of real victory, which is something that is so damning that even I am beyond. I just couldn't express through words because of how damning that this war has been going on between Palestine and Israel.
Yeah.
That's all I'm going to have to say on that.
And that's going to be a reoccurring thing that's going to affect the next election. Israel will be a center power, and they will have a heavy influence regardless. There's a conspiracy that I'm not confirming that it's true. I'm not saying that it's 100% true, but there is a conspiracy that Israel holds the secret power and they are really the masterminds. But that's a conspiracy. I'm not confirming it to be true. I'm just saying, that's just what I hear about Israel. So
that's all we would have to say on that. Would you be willing to end your stream?
Sure. Omega, do you have any last words to say?
No, but except I'll be returning. Thank you for having me on your stream.
No problem.
It's my big return while I'll be moving and move to a new place. Hopefully, I'll return and.
You're still going to be in your same state?
Yeah, I'm gonna be in the same state, just a different city. Move closer to Seattle, but.
Oh, that's good. Okay.
So
yeah,
the windy city.
The rainy city, really.
Rain and wind.
Yeah, all that shit. And to the people out there that want to advocate for child marriage, the pedophiles, just don't fuck kids. Just go fuck yourself.
Yes.
In prison.
No pedophiles will be tolerated.
In fact, do one better. Get a vasectomy permanently. Get a gender-affirming care. How about that?
Yeah, donate your dick to a woman that's trying to transition. There you go. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. That's what you really want. That's why these places in Texas and Arkansas, they have the highest rating of trans porn. So many people in Texas and Arkansas watch trans porn.
Alex Jones was caught watching trans porn.
He's dating Blair White. You didn't know that?
What? He is?
He is, yeah. He fucked Blair White and everything. But that's a tea for another time.
I did not know that.
They're dating? You didn't know that? Yeah. He's dating Blair White. Yeah.
Oh, Nick Fuentes was also caught with gay porn too.
So many Republicans are caught with gay porn, but you see, it wouldn't be a big deal had they not been homophobic and vote against gay people interests. See, the whole reason why, nobody gives a fuck whether or not you watch trans porn, whether or not you date transgenders, whether or not you watch gay porn. That's normal. Nobody cares. But the problem is when you use this opportunity in your political party to demonize the same demographic that you are supporting low key. That is where the problem comes into play.
Yeah.
Republicans, they are the problem.
For shizzle. I'm out though, but yeah,
So
good talking to you.
catch it on Fleek. And guys, Omega, thank you for coming. Firelord, thank you for coming. Saw a little glimpse there. But until next time, guys, I will see you adieu.